From a kid who refuses to shower to a kid who genuinely believes that he is an emo goth lord vampire super, I don't even know, bro. These are the cringiest kids of all time because welcome to the Cringy Kid movie. Let's get into it.
And we're crying, 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 like
Okay, how do I introduce a story like this, man? I mean, you guys can read. You've read the title. All I can say is strap in, buckle up, because this is going to be quite the ride. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy stories. And let's call today's subscriber who submitted this, let's call this guy Mason. So this all happened one day when Mason was in class, and Mason was in 4th grade when this whole thing went down. And there's a kid who, once again, kind of like wore the same creeper shirt every single day. And it was like the creeper hoodie, and really that's not a big deal. They're like, if you want to wear the creeper hoodie, I don't really care. However, we're just going to call him the Minecraft kid, right? Because of the creeper hoodie. He wore it every single day, and maybe, right? Maybe he has a closet full of like 18 different varieties of the creeper hoodie. Or maybe his mom does a load of laundry every single day. Or maybe he's just wearing the same creeper hoodie every single day. I mean, you guys can believe whatever you want, but I think one of those three are a little bit more likely than the other. But anyways, right, so there's this kid called the Minecraft kid because he wore the creeper hoodie every single day. And he was a little bit strange. And there's nothing wrong with you being a little bit strange. Like, I'm a little bit strange. I mean, I run a YouTube channel, man. I mean, that's already putting me in the strange category, unfortunately. But hey, man, I love the YouTube too much to like drop it or anything like that. But sure enough, this all happened one day when the Minecraft kid was in class with Mason. And the Minecraft kid raised his hand. And another thing you need to know about the Minecraft kid is he would take bathroom breaks like 6 times per class. And I don't know about you, but back in the day, I definitely used to go to the bathroom to like go on my phone or just take a break from the class. However, I would be very like strategic with it. I wouldn't do it every single day. I'd do it like every other day. I would make sure that I wasn't away for too long, like maybe 5 minutes max. But this kid, bro, would just abuse the bathroom break button. He was like spamming it, just try to like, I don't know, man. But every single day, you can go to the bathroom, minimum 2 times, maximum like 6 times. That's what I'm told at least. And sure enough, once again, one day, the Minecraft kid raises his hand for the 3rd time in class. And this has been going on for months. And I just think at this point, the teacher kind of just snapped. And he looks at the Minecraft kid. He's like, yes. And the Minecraft kid says, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And here's the thing, right? The teacher should not have reacted in the way that he reacted because maybe this kid has like IBS or something. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom like a ton per day. However, if he did, it was not registered with the nurse, or even if it was, the nurse did not communicate that properly to the teacher, which she probably should have, or he probably should have, just because, I don't know, if a kid's going to the bathroom 7 times per day, that might be a little suspicious to the teacher. However, the teacher was kind of just assuming that the kid was just going in to like go on his phone or whatever. And that was probably the case, but I mean, you really don't know. But after the Minecraft kid says like, hey, can I go to the bathroom for like the 3rd time? The teacher's like, you know what? No, you can't go to the bathroom. And the whole class kind of turns around and is like, wait, whoa, pause. Like, hold up now. Like, this kid's been asking you to go to the bathroom like 7 times a day for the last 6 months. And now you're saying no? Like, what changed, man? And the teacher's like, you're going to have to wait till the end of class. You've been going way too much, way too often. I think you're missing too much of classwork, right? And the Minecraft kid was not happy to hear this. For all we know, maybe he actually did have to go to the bathroom. But Mason, to be fair, right? Mason has gone to the bathroom. He's the subscriber who submitted this story. He's gone to the bathroom at times when the Minecraft kid has been in there. And Mason can hear the volume from his iPhone up all the way. The Minecraft kid is in there playing like Flappy Bird or watching TikToks or whatever, man. He's just going on his phone. Maybe he also has to go to the bathroom, but the Minecraft kid obviously definitely was kind of like, most likely was abusing it just to go to the bathroom. But sure enough, the Minecraft kid raises his hand again. He's like, I gotta go. And the teacher says, like, Minecraft kid, you've gone like 6 times during class, every single day for the last 6 months. You're missing out on class time. Please try and like conserve your like bathroom breaks. I will let you go, but just give it a second. I just can't let you go and disrupt the class like 1,000 times every single day. And the Minecraft kid was getting kind of angry. And he didn't say anything. He wasn't like, no, I really got to go. And the Minecraft kid also didn't just stand up. Unfortunately, I think the Minecraft kid watched a little bit too much South Park. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there's an episode of South Park, which is a TV show kind of aimed for adults, so I wouldn't go search this up if you're too young, but there's this kid named Cartman. And one time, Cartman needed to basically go to the principal's office, so he decided to do number 2 on the desk of a teacher. And I think the Minecraft kid got a little bit too inspired by Cartman, because the Minecraft kid is like, you're going to want, like, I need to go to the bathroom, and you're going to regret it if you don't let me. And the teacher kind of turns around kind of sharply and looks at him and says, like, you shouldn't be threatening people. Like, that's a very bad thing to do. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. He said, you know what? Just because you're threatening me and said in such a threatening voice, you're not allowed to go to the bathroom for the rest of the class. And this only made the Minecraft kid even more upset. And Mason is just sitting here watching this back and forth. And Mason kind of feels a little bit for the Minecraft kid because maybe he really needs to go. Maybe the first 2 times, yeah, I mean, it is kind of karma if you were just going to the bathroom 6 times per day just to go on your phone. However, right, I mean, maybe he really has to go, man. And it's kind of cruel to, like, not let someone go to the bathroom when they really need to. But he did just go like 5 minutes ago and 10 minutes before that. So, I don't know. Anyways, right, Mason was sitting there, and the Minecraft kid raises his hand for a final time and says, you're going to let me go, or you're going to regret this. And once again, the teacher's like, if you threaten me again, you're not going to be allowed to go to the bathroom ever again when you're in my class. And at this point, the whole class is like, oh, I don't know if they're actually like hyping up like that, but things were getting legit and they could feel it for sure. They're like, oh, dang, dude, like stuff's getting real, right? And sure enough, the Minecraft kid says, very well, have it your way. The teacher kind of like has a little bit of a smile, but quickly brushes it off, probably because he felt like he won that discussion. Like, all right, well, this kid who's been abusing the bathroom system has lost, and I won as a teacher and I asserted my dominance. However, right, dominance was not asserted. In fact, I don't even know how to explain what's about to happen, so I'm going to do my best. Bear with me. Because the Minecraft kid, he kind of like stands up. And the teacher is currently facing the board, so the teacher doesn't notice the Minecraft kid stand up. However, Mason, the subscriber who submitted this story, as well as a bunch of other people, by the way, Mason submitted this to my Instagram. It's in the description. You should go follow it, even if you're not going to go submit stories. Give me a big number and make me feel good. Anyways, Mason is watching this whole thing go down, and he sees that the Minecraft kid stands up from his desk. And then the Minecraft kid stands on his chair. And then the Minecraft kid stands on his desk. And at this point, almost half the class is turned around watching the Minecraft kid because he's making enough of a commotion. In the next, YouTube, please be nice. YouTube, man, I'm going to describe the next thing without making you mad. So the Minecraft kid, well, he drops his pants. He drops his pants. And he says, teacher, and the teacher turns around and is about to be like Minecraft kid for the last time. And he turns around and is like, what? What the, huh? And the Minecraft kid is like, teacher, I told you you'd regret not letting me go to the bathroom. And just to put it very, just to be point blank, just to be straight up, just getting right to the point. Yeah, he just, number 2 on the desk, man. It wasn't like anything crazy, right? It was pretty, just a little bit, but yeah. And everyone in the class starts like screaming. Like some of the girls are like, ah! Some of the guys are like, yo, what? That's disgusting, dude. And the teacher's like, Minecraft kid, what on earth are you doing? And the Minecraft kid's like, I told you should let me go to the bathroom, dude. Now you're just paying the consequences. The Minecraft kid was like feeling all full of himself. And the teacher was like, go to the principal's office now. And I don't think the Minecraft kid totally realized what was going on. And the Minecraft kid starts to panic. And the Minecraft kid looks to his left and looks to his right. And when the Minecraft kid looks to his right, you know who he sees? He sees the subscriber. He sees Mason. And he makes eye contact with Mason. And Mason is looking directly at the Minecraft kid and is thinking to himself, oh my God, what? Wow. But then he's like, wait, why is this kid making eye contact with me? And he's like, Mason made me do it. He dared me. And the teacher's like, Mason. Mason's just like, dude, I swear I was just sitting here. What do you mean? And the teacher's like, you know what? Minecraft kid, Mason, and anyone else involved, go to the principal's office right now. And Mason is just like, why? So he gets up, and because he's not going to like fight with his teacher when the teacher's literally going through a massive rage moment. And, he starts walking up, and he walks up to the Minecraft kid. He's like, dude, I don't even know who you are. The Minecraft kid's like, just doesn't say anything. So he walks up to the principal's office, and he sits down, and the principal's like, what happened? And Mason explains the side of the story, that he was just like a bystander sitting there. And then, eventually the Minecraft kid walks in, because he had to, it wasn't like he could, okay, I'm not going to explain why it took him longer, but he got there, right? And sure enough, the principal's like, Minecraft kid, why would you do that? And the Minecraft kid's like, explains the side, and then she's like, and why is Mason here? And the Minecraft kid, who kind of panic blamed him to kind of like lesser the punishment on him, is like, Mason dared me to do it. And Mason's like, dude, I don't even know who you are. You're just in my class. And the principal's like, I don't know, Mason, why would he lie about this? Like, there's literally nothing for him to gain. And Mason's like, dude, I don't know. Real quick, comment Minecraft down below if you want to heart in your comment. That will be the secret word of the day. And I'll try and heart as many of those comments as possible. And also, if you want to help us get to 600,000 faster, binge watch the videos. YouTube really likes promoting my channels when you guys like binge watch a bunch of my videos. So after this video, or when you have the time to sit down and watch a bunch of videos, I've made playlists. You can just like go to my channel page and let me know in the comments when you do this, so I can heart it and say thank you and just give a little bit of appreciation for you guys really helping me out. And I really do appreciate it. Anyways, the story gets even more insane, so stay tuned. So anyways, right, back to the story. Mason is in a position where he was just dragged into this. Honestly, Mason to this day doesn't totally understand why the Minecraft kid even singled him out. Mason and the Minecraft kid weren't close friends. They didn't even really know each other. And Mason just assumes that he randomly looked around and picked someone who he just happened to remember the name of and blamed them just to kind of like lesser the punishment on him. In his mind, or I guess in his panic, the idea was like, oh, if I blame someone else and say that they forced me to do it, my punishment will be lesser, right? Which is like, bro, why? Why would you do that? But anyways, sure enough, the principal, unfortunately, is not believing Mason, because Mason is explaining that he doesn't even know this kid and he has no idea why he would lie. And the principal's kind of doesn't believe him, because he's like, Mason, like, why would the Minecraft kid lie about this, right? It just doesn't make any sense. And the principal's like, well, I guess I just have to make a judgment call in this situation. And Mason, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to give you a punishment too, because I don't believe you. And Mason is just like, what? Are you serious? And then Mason said, even if I did like dare him to do something ridiculous, it's still up to him. Like, I didn't, for the record, and I stand by that because I don't even know this kid. But if someone was to, why would that even matter? And the principal's like, so you're admitting it? And Mason's like, no, I'm just saying it'd be stupid even if I did. But it's double stupid because I didn't even do it. And the principal's like, don't say stupid to me. Mason's like, I'm in 4th grade. And also, this is double stupid. What can I say? So eventually, right, the principal's like, all right, well, I'm going to have to call both your mothers and explain what happened. And Mason's just like, dude, this is the most ridiculous day of my life. So sure enough, the principal calls up both their mothers saying, hey, both your sons got in trouble. If you're not busy, can you please come in? And the Minecraft kid's mom was busy at the time, but Mason's mom kind of either had the day off or for some reason wasn't really needing to like be wherever she was. And she said, yeah, I'll come in right away. Maybe she was busy and she thought that this was a good idea to go see like what happened to her son. So Mason's mom comes in and she's like, looks at Mason with this look of like, what have you done? And Mason looks at her with these like eyes of like, bro, I don't know what's going on, confusion, whatever, right? The principal is like, all right, hi, Miss Mason's mom, or, whatever. Well, I'm so glad you could come. And the principal explains what happened. And then she kind of explains how she doesn't believe Mason. And Mason's mom started with a look of concern, and then she almost got a look of like annoyance. And the look of annoyance grew and grew the more the principal told the story. And Mason was looking at this and was like, okay, is my mom on my side, or is the look of annoyance because she's so annoyed with me? Either way, this is just the worst situation ever. So sure enough, right, by the end of the story, Mason's mom's like, why am I here? The principal's like, well, didn't you hear, like, your son, supposedly dared him to do it? And Mason's mom, like, first of all, my son disagrees with that statement. You don't really have any proof, but let's say he even did. Why would that matter? And the principal kind of was a little shocked. And Mason's mom's like, isn't it like a cliche saying for parents to be like, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you as well? Like, are you really just supposed to do whatever the popular kid does? And then Mason's mom's like, even if my son did, which I'm not convinced he did, dared him to do what he did on the desk, right? Why is that my son's fault? Is this kid not like able to function by himself? Like, is the blame 100% not on, the Minecraft kid anymore? Is any of the blame really supposed to be on my son? And the principal's like, well, I'm sorry you feel this way, but I made up my mind. Like, your son's going to be suspended for the day. He can come back tomorrow, but he can't come back today. And the Mason's mom is like, are you serious? Like, really? And she's like, yeah. And then Mason's mom's like, all right, what punishment did the Minecraft kid get? And the principal said, well, we're doing equal punishment. And Mason's mom's like, you can't be serious, man. You can't be serious. And the principal's like, I'm sorry you disagree, but this is the punishment. So Mason's mom's like, Mason, come with me. And Mason's like, oh, I can't tell if my mom's mad or not. So Mason gets up, kind of all scared or whatever, and he sits in the car. And Mason's mom's like, well, this was unexpected, but Mason, today you got a day off. It is your vacation day because that punishment is ridiculous. And then Mason's like, okay, she's on my side. And Mason's mom is like, Mason, please be honest. Did you dare him to do it? And Mason's like, Mom, I promise. Since look, it looks like you're not angry at me either way. Why would I lie about this? Because I didn't do it. I don't even know who this kid is. Why would I dare him to do something so ridiculous? Mason's mom's like, yeah, that's what I thought. But even if you did, like, who cares? And this punishment's ridiculous. So you and we're going to get ice cream because today you learned a very good lesson. Sometimes there are rules that are ridiculous and you'll be punished. But stay true to your convictions, man. This is another one of those stories where I just feel like I have a moral obligation to remind you guys that there is cringe incoming. There is a large amount of cringe. And if you're susceptible to cringe, just be aware. And I want to make sure that everyone is strapped in and prepared and subscribed if they're new. And let's call today's subscriber who submitted this story, quite a story we got. Let's call him Sam. So this happened when Sam, the subscriber, was in 8th grade, and this happened around 2017, 2018, and this is when the whole wave of SoundCloud rappers really just blew up, and it was super mainstream and super popular. And basically, there was always like at least one kid in your grade who like had a SoundCloud rapper face where he thought that since he mumbled over a beat that he was going to become the next Lil Sam. I don't know, man. Sam never had that phase himself, but you know what I mean. Like, it'd just be little insert adjective and bam, he would have millions of dollars, all the women ever, definitely not a bunch of rented out cars or anything. But this all happened to Sam as well, because one day he was in class. And in this class, there was this kid who was kind of known as the spoiled kid because his parents made a lot of money. And remember, I don't care if your parents make $1 or 100,000 trillion dollars. Well, actually, if they do, hit them up. Tell them that they can always give me some money. It's all good. I'm an open invitation. But anyways, I don't really care as long as you act like a normal, decent human being. I think that's fair enough, right? But this kid, really, it just went to his head. And just the fact that his parents made money, the fact that he hit the genetic lottery kind of went to his head. Wow, probability will eventually favor you. Like, congrats, dude. Nice. But anyways, this kid was kind of a jerk from the start. But after this day in class, he was kind of known as the jerk, right? And because sure enough, one day, Sam is in a history class, right? And he comes in and he is the class with the spoiled kid. And we're just going to call him the spoiled kid. The spoiled kid walks in with a little bit more pomp and swagger in his step today. He's just a little bit more arrogant than he normally is. And, Sam just wasn't totally sure why, but he didn't think anything of it. Maybe his dad got a raise and they're getting their 3rd swimming pool and their 17th mega mansion. I don't really know what's going on, but sure enough, right now, Sam walks in. And Sam's just trying to mind his own business, and this kid comes up to him and is like, "Sup, Sam?" And Sam's like, "Sup, dude?" Remember, Sam and the spoiled kid don't really talk to each other. They're not really friends. Obviously, they know of each other's existence because Sam's in kind of a smaller school, but Sam just doesn't know who this kid is. He's not friends with him. And he just comes up to him, and like maybe Sam is thinking, oh, maybe he's trying to become friends or something. It doesn't really matter. But the next thing that the kid said, he's like, "Dude, I'm freaking blowing up on SoundCloud right now. Bro, Lil Pump? He's going to be old news when it's coming to me." And Sam's like, well, what's your username? Like, what's your, your SoundCloud rapper handle or whatever? And the spoiled kid, brace yourself. The spoiled kid said that his name was, the spoiled kid said that his super hardcore gangster rapper name was Baby Big Money Little Dog. Is this some like ABC balloon, like, is this some kind of like, is this some Coco Melon type beat? Like, what? Are you serious? You expect to have any kind of quote unquote street, I mean, you're a SoundCloud rapper, let's be real. But imagine being like, yeah, this is my boy, Baby Big dude, I can't even say it with a straight face anymore. Let's just call him Spoiled Kid. I'm not even going to refer to him by his SoundCloud rapper name. And I think his handle was different or something, because the subscriber felt confident telling me that without thinking it would leak any information. I think like he deleted his page and wiped himself off the internet because he was so embarrassed. But anyways, right? So Sam is trying to hold his composure because this random like spoiled kid just said, yeah man, I'm blown up on SoundCloud. My name is Baby Big Money Little Dog. Dude, I can't even say that. I can't even say that with a straight face. God. So anyways, Sam's like, well, what's going on? And he was like, dude, I just got 500, and Sam's like 500,000 in his head. And then the kid's like, streams. I just got 500 plays on my recent song. And Sam, loads up, is like, oh, okay, like loads up his SoundCloud profile. He's in class, so he's kind of risking it right now, but he loads up the SoundCloud profile. And it is the most garage band, terrible mic pop. Okay, I can't really complain about mic pops. I don't even use a mic. I just use my phone to record these videos. But anyways, I'm not trying to produce music, right? It is probably the worst song. It is like Little Pump if it was like Discount Little Pump. Consider that. And, that was probably the hardest try not to laugh challenge Sam has ever entertained himself with, because he was in class and he didn't want to get called out to the principal's office or just like, I don't know, got a bad participation mark that day or something. And, the spoiled kid is not noticing that Sam is trying not to just like burst into laughter, tears, I don't know, shivering. I don't even know what reaction you'd have to that kind of music at that point. And, the kid's like, dude, I think I'm just going to drop out of school. And Sam looks at him again. He's like, God, you're testing me today, man. You're testing me today, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, I think I'm going to go to Hollywood because it'd be great for networking. And it just like, I think it's time for me to drop out and pursue my passion. I mean, I'm literally blowing up right now. I mean, 500 people have streamed my song. And the spoiled kid refreshed the page. Is like, dude, it's literally 501. It's blowing up. And Sam pointed out, like, dude, I just listened to it. That's probably... He's like, doesn't matter, man. I'm still blowing up. I'm going to be so big and huge. Don't take that out of context. I'm going to be so massive. And I feel bad for you guys. Like, if you're, like, really true supporters of me, I will consider allowing you to have backstage passes. And Sam is just like, oh, my God. This kid is, like, unironically delusional. But anyways, right, it doesn't end there. It gets more cringe, and in fact, it gets even more, like, it becomes so bad that it will be difficult for me to physically read it. It is that unfortunate amount of cringe. So you guys do need to strap up. But real quick, comment spoil down below, as that is the secret word of the day. And if you want to support us and support the channel, help us get to 600,000, binge watch some videos, and then comment down below if you do. I'll slap a heart in your comment and say thank you. And then, sure enough, right, the kid goes on, the spoiled kid, because remember, Sam, the spoiled kid, are all in this history class, and they got a professor who is, he's happy with what he's doing, man. He feels, teaching is fulfilling. Yeah, he's not being paid a crazy amount, but he's happy, man. He's happy with what he's doing, and that's really all that matters. But the spoiled kid doesn't see that, and the spoiled kid, at the very, kind of not the very end of class, but the last 5 minutes of class, so yeah, the very end of class, but not when the bell's rung and they're leaving. The spoiled kid raises his hand, and the teacher didn't really ask a question, so he just thought the spoiled kid had a question. So he's like, yeah, spoiled kid, like, what's up? And the spoiled kid's like, I just think it's time for me to make an announcement. I have finalized my decision. And the teacher's like, does this have anything to do with U.S. history? He's like, no, it's far more important. And the teacher's like, I would really prefer it if you stuck to U.S. history. Cut off mid-sentence. He's like, peasants around. Okay, he didn't say but he's like, it's so sad to look down at all of you guys. It's so sad because I know that you guys are probably going to live lives like this guy, And he just points to the teacher, which like, bro, chill, dude. But anyways, he's like, oh, it's so sad. And everyone's kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? What kind of egomaniac trip are you on right now? And sure enough, right, the kid goes on to say, if you guys don't know, I'm blowing up on SoundCloud and I'm about to be rich, famous, and surrounded by babes. Oh yeah. And everyone's just so shocked and confused right now. They just have legitimately no idea of what's going on. They just have they're just not able to like perceive the nonsense that is kind of like penetrating their skulls right now. It's just they just can't figure out what's going on. And understandably, I mean, I think I'd be a little confused as well. And he's like, I have an announcement. And he stands up now because he's been kind of preaching from his chair. Now he stands up. He's like, I will be going to Hollywood tomorrow. And you guys will watch as I blow up. And if you guys are nice to me, and in fact, you do exactly what I say, then maybe when I'm famous and I'm on stage, I will give you backstage passes, which I know for whatever profession you guys will go into, you wouldn't be able to afford normally. And at this point, right, Sam is sitting there just like, did this kid just like get a piano dropped on his head and no one noticed? Because this is not the words of a sane, normal man, right? These are not the words of a normal person. God damn, like, what? What happened, man? And sure enough, right, the teacher is just, what's the teacher supposed to say here? Like, okay. So at this point, right, the spoiled kid has been going on a maniac ego trip for the last 5 minutes. And then the bell rings. He's like, guys, this might be the last time that you see me before I see you from a different angle. That angle being I'm on stage performing with all the babes and all the money, and you're in the crowd, the very, very back row seats, because you guys are probably not grateful enough for me to give you front row passes. You'll be in the very the very, very back. You will actually probably be so far out that you didn't even get tickets, and you're just trying to leech off of me. You're trying to freeload, and you're standing in a big pile of mud, rolling around like a bunch of little piggies. And at this point, right, Sam's like, oh my God, this kid has gone off his rocker. Oh my God. And the kid stands up. He's like, good day, everyone. And he walks away. And everyone, like, the bell is rung. So people normally, get up their stuff and they walk out and they thank the teacher. Everyone's sitting down. No one gets up. Even the teacher, like, who is standing, proceeds to go and sit down and just thinks. And then the teacher's like, well, class, because the teacher needs to break the silence. Like, the bell rung, guys. You're allowed to go. Like, that's fine. You're allowed to go. And he's like, we'll discuss. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with whatever just happened. I'll deal with that. Don't worry about it. So sure enough, right, as soon as everyone gets up, it is a buzz of chatter because everyone's talking like, oh my God, like this kid's blowing up. I haven't heard anything about that. And that's when Sam, because the spoiled kid had apparently only told Sam because I don't know, maybe he just chose someone randomly to like test out his act on or whatever. And Sam is like, starts hearing these conversations and he interjects. He's like the spoiled kid told me about it during class. And sure enough, right, Sam pulls up his SoundCloud profile and he shows that his recent and his only song, by the way, has 501 plays, which means ever since like Sam watched it, no one else watched it. He's not blowing up. And someone's like, wait, is this kid's name Baby Big Money Little what? And everyone is like, all right, let's start streaming it. So everyone starts listening. And probably at this point, Sam was getting or the spoiled kid was getting an even bigger ego boost because he just got 10 streams, bro. He's blowing up. And sure enough, the next day rolls around and you know who isn't there? The spoiled kid. He's not there. And Sam is like on his Instagram account and he follows the spoiled kid on Instagram because you just follow people that you know. And he sees that the spoiled kid has changed his profile to like a creator profile and it says artist. And his caption is literally like his profile says like blowing up, see you in Hollywood. And on his story, he sees like Sam sees the ring around the profile photo. So he clicks on it and that means that there's like a story on Instagram, which you should follow my Instagram. It's in the description and submit stories there. I'm making an email. I'm just being lazy. I'm sorry. Kind of busy. Anyways, though, he clicks on the story and he sees that the spoiled kid is looking up flights to LA on his computer. So he's just skipped class and he skipped school, and he's like looking at like flights to LA on Google, and he's putting that on his story. And at this point, like Sam was like, all right, he's either like lying, which spoiler, he may or may not have been doing, or he's actually getting flights and he's gonna go. So Sam like starts like showing this to other kids, and other kids follow him too. And then one kid says to the teacher, I think the guy, because like teacher was taking attendance, he's like, oh, spoiled kid isn't here. And someone's like, I think he's going to LA, I think he's getting flights now. And the teacher's like, well, is he really like blowing up? Is he actually like, obviously he's being a big jerk yesterday, but is he actually blowing up? And someone just responds, no, he's not at all. The teacher's like, oh, well, that's going to be embarrassing tomorrow when his parents, get a call from the principal that he skipped school today and that he's forced to come in. Make sure to be not too cruel to him. And then the teacher kind of looks at them and is like, well, I mean, a little bit of cruelty might be deserved and might be good for him, but not too cruel, guys, and kind of gives a smile. And sure enough, the next day rolls around. And you know who shows up in class? The spoiled kid. And the thing is, right, the spoiled kid is like, as soon as anyone walks in, he turns at them, looks at them, and is like, the life of music, it was such a cool, fast life. It was just too much for me, man. Like, I'm not going for materialistic things. Women, music, money, crowds, fame. It's just not for me, man. I just kind of came to a revelation. Like, even though I was totally blowing up, I think I'm going to I'm going to retire from the music game. And everyone looks at him. It's like, all right, buddy. And the thing is, right, this kid really did come for the teacher's life. Really said that, like, you're going to end up like him. And pointed right at the teacher, which is that's pretty disrespectful, man. So sure enough, the teacher, when he comes in, he's like, oh, spoiled kid. Looks like your music career didn't go so well, huh? And the spoiled kid's like, well, actually, the teacher's like, that's enough from you. Today we have a story of one of the cringiest emo kids of all time, so sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're calling today's subscriber who submitted the story Brent. So this all happened when Brent was at soccer camp. And so Brent went to the soccer camp every single year, and it just happened that this year he encountered the emo kid at soccer camp. So anyways, this was just another summer of Brent going to soccer camp. His mom dropped him off, and once again, he was pretty excited to go. Unfortunately, some of the friends he made from the year before, they didn't show up this time, so he was very proactive about finding people, meeting new people, and trying to make some new friends. So anyways, in the very beginning of soccer camp, they had kind of a get to know other people type deal. And all of a sudden, right, Brent sees this girl, and she was at kind of like the girls' soccer camp. So it was kind of split up like boys' soccer camp and girls' soccer camp. However, it was all under the same umbrella of like the soccer camp program. So they would eat lunch together, do non-soccer activities, but like the morning soccer practices were kind of split up by gender like that. And so anyways, right away, Brent saw this girl, Emily, and he immediately kind of fell in love with her. Not actually, but was like, OMG, lol, she's cute. I'm going to try and hit. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, I don't know. He's like, he's gone to soccer camp. He's not trying to hit, bro. That's crazy. But anyways, right, so she's going to be an important character later on. But for the meantime, we don't need to think about her because someone much more important comes into the picture. So while Brent is thinking about like, oh my God, look at that girl over there. I got to start talking to her. That's crazy. He accidentally bumps into this guy and turns around. This guy is like, I don't know, a little bit bigger than him, a little bit heavier than him, just like kind of a bigger guy. And he's got this like long black hair that's swooshed over. He's wearing like the standard soccer cleats, but otherwise it's like this black band heavy metal t-shirt. He's got like black painted nails. He's got like a spiky wristband on or whatever. And he turns around. He's like, yo, what did you bump into me, bro? And Brent's like, oh, my fault. Like, didn't mean to do that. He's like, you don't think that I'm an alpha? Is that what you think? Brent's like, what? He's like, I'm an alpha male, just in case you weren't aware, which I know that you subconsciously were because, all betas instantly know when there's an alpha present. And Andrew was the guy from like 7 stories ago. Brent was like, what? He's like, bro, do you not know what beta males and alpha males are? Well, basically, beta males are like you and lame, and alpha males are strong, powerful, and dominant in the pack. And with that, like, the emo kid does a big, like, swipe of his big, long black hair. So, like, his bangs would no longer cover his eyes. It immediately fell back in front of his face. He's like, yeah, just so you know, kid, get out of my way. And the emo kid, like, shuffles away. And this was Brent's first interaction with the emo kid. So he's like, okay. That's cool, man. Like, okay. See you around, buddy. Bye-bye. So anyways, let's fast forward a little bit. After soccer practice in the morning, Brent was actually one of the better kids there. He was pretty good at soccer. They had lunch, and in the afternoon, they had activities such as like this, like, I don't know, like tag, capture the flag, all kind of like random camp activities. And today was capture the flag, and Brent happened to be on the same team as Emily. So immediately he goes over there. He's like, hey, how's it going? Like, my name is Brent. Emily's like, hey, like, my name's Emily. Nice to meet you. And Brent and Emily immediately hit it off. They're having a good time. They're talking with each other. They're enjoying each other's company. You simply love to see it. And, like, from very far away, Brent catches the eye of the emo kid who's on the other team and is just staring him down for some reason. Brent doesn't really think much of it, and then, like, he goes back to talking to Emily. So they're playing capture the flag right now, and Brent, runs over to the other side, gets the flag, right, and starts running back to his side. If you don't know capture the flag, there's like this little penny on both sides, or like a little piece of cloth or something, and while you're on the opponent's side, if they tag you, you're in jail. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to run over there, grab their flag, and run back to your side without being tagged. However, there was a stipulation that it had to be a tag. This isn't tackling. You can't push someone. You can't, like, punch them or anything. You have to tag them if they're on your side. So, Brent is running over there. Sorry, I have a list of names in front of me and from other stories. Brent is running over there. He grabs the enemy team's flag and is running back to his side, and he's really close when he just, like, immediately slams into the ground. And that's when he realizes that there's a big guy on top of him. And that's when he realizes that the emo kid tackled him. So the emo kid's like, nice try, buddy. Next time, try not to fight the alpha males. And then a camp counselor comes over and says, hey, we said no tackling. You're on the sidelines, points to the emo kid, he's disqualified or whatever, has to sit on the sidelines. Ooh, so alpha, man. But anyways, right, so the penny's returned, but also Brent isn't in, like, jail. He goes back to the other side, and the emo kid has to sit out for the rest of capture the flag. And Brent continues to talk to Emily, and the entire time, the emo kid is just, like, looking over, and he's, like, all angrily staring at Brent. So Brent is now his official enemy. Brent kind of just assumed that they were enemies because of when he bumped into him and also when he got him disqualified, which, did Brent really get him disqualified, or was it because he's an idiot and jumped on him? That's why he got disqualified? Who knows, man? But there was another reason why the emo kid hated Brent. There was another reason that Brent did not realize at the moment, but was very, very, very potent, and is going to be very, very important for later on in the story. I'm gonna give you guys a hint. It starts with an E and ends with a mly. Did you guys get it? Starts with an E and ends with a mly. Emily, I'm just going to tell you, yeah, it is Emily, the girl, so emo kid likes her. Anyways, so Brent and Emily talk for the rest of that capture the flag game. The entire time the emo kid is staring Brent down. Brent just simply assumes, well, this kid hates me for that reason only. But let me just say that the next week of soccer camp was the craziest week that Brent has ever had. So anyways, right, his mom picks him up. He goes back home. His mom's like, hey, how was the first day? And Brent says, oh, I met this really weird kid who tackled me. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? He's like, yeah, actually, I have barely any scrapes on me even. But he seems to not like me, so I'll keep you updated on that. So Brent is dropped off the next day, and he walks over there. And that's when the emo kid, is just staring him down. And, Brent is kind of walking over because there's a little bit of like a 5, 10, 15-minute period where the kids are just standing around talking with each other, waiting for them all to be dropped off. And then the soccer camp officials or camp counselors would then split them up into groups, do soccer drills, play games, whatever, standard kind of affair. And he's just kind of waiting around. And that's when the emo kid comes up to him and says, so you're challenging my authority as the alpha man? And Brent is kind of just like, what? He's like, I'll say it again, just in case your little beta ears couldn't hear me. So you're challenging my authority that I am the alpha male of the pack. If we were wolves, which we kind of are, and Brent was like, what? If we were wolves, as we kind of are, as I said, I would be the alpha male, alpha wolf, and you would be the beta wolf, and I would be banging your wife while you watch little cuck beta wolf. Whoa. And Brent is looking at this kid, and this kid is like, no offense, but this kid is like the opposite of what a stereotypical alpha male would look like, right? One of those red pit alpha males. It just looks the complete opposite of that. But anyways, Brent's not gonna get into like he's not gonna rebuttal this kid, because like, what is there to rebuttal? Everything, man. Like this kid has no argument. But anyways, Brent's like, okay, and the emo kid's like, well, you say okay, but remember yesterday when you got me kicked out of the game, which you obviously tipped off the ref? And Brent's like, bro, you tackled me. It's very clearly stated in the rule books that you're not allowed to tackle anyone. How is this on me? He's like, dude, it was so clearly on you because the ref understood that I was the alpha male and I was simply asserting my dominance, bro. And, Brent's just like, dude, the frick are you talking about, dude? Like, I paid him off with what? The $5 allowance I get a week? With what? My used smelly, stinky socks? What do I have? And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe you took his daughter on a date because his daughter's so ugly she'd never get a date. Oh. And Brent's like, was that a diss? Like, does he even have a daughter? He's like 20, bro. What? And the emo kid's like, anyways, I just wanted to let you know that I'm the alpha man. You're the beta man. I will do your wife when you have one. And scene. And the emo kid walks away. And Brent at this point is like, what? Why? Why is this my life? Anyway, so skip forward to the soccer practice. They're put into groups, and the emo kid was in Group B earlier, so they basically split them up into Group A and Group B. So Group A is the better players, and Group B is the I'm just kidding, the players who are newer to soccer. And the emo kid apparently was on the cusp of Group A. It was at the very top of Group B, and because his performance was good enough, he was actually moved up to Group A. So now Brent, instead of having a morning to himself to focus on soccer, now had to deal with the emo kid being, thrown into the mix here. So anyways, they're doing some drills with the soccer ball, and they're kind of like kicking them around cones. You had to kind of keep control of the ball while you were running. And the emo kid, like they said, okay, line up into 3 groups. And the emo kid immediately ran behind Brent. And Brent kind of looks behind him. He's like, what? And the emo kid said, nothing, Brent. Just letting you know that I'm the alpha male here. And Brent's like, okay, fine. Let's just do the drill. So the ref blows the whistle. Brent starts kicking the ball and moving with it. And the emo kid immediately runs up behind him and trips him. He's like, oh, sorry. And the ref's like, hey. And the emo kid's like, it was an accident, I swear. And the ref's like, all right, be careful. And Brent is starting to get really angry because, if you get an injury in soccer, especially if you get a foot injury, he could be out for the entire week. I mean, this is one of his favorite camps that he has every single summer. He loves going to it. It's one of his favorite things to do. And this emo kid, for the second time in the last 24 hours, has, has gotten really close to causing him a pretty big injury. He could have jumped, he jumped on him yesterday. He ran behind him, knocking him over. What if he twisted an ankle? What if he, fractured something in his leg? It's not that hard, especially when you got a big old kid jumping on top of you every 5 minutes. It's difficult. It's not that difficult, man. So anyways, Brent, for the next activity, waits to get into line before the emo kid does, because he doesn't want to be in the same line as the emo kid. But it turns out that everyone else lines up, and it's literally just Brent and the emo kid waiting for each other to move, because the Brent wants to go where the emo kid doesn't go, and the emo kid wants to go where Brent goes. And the refs not the refs, but the soccer coaches are like, come on, kind of guys, get into line. And Brent's like, okay. And he sprints to the end of the line, and then the emo kid sprints to the back of that line. And the coach is like, emo kid, says his actual name, can you go to another line? That line's too long. The emo kid's like, okay, moves over one line, and when the coach turns his head, the emo kid literally runs back into the line with Brent again. So when the coach turns around, he's like, wait, emo kid, I said, could you go to that line? And he's like, fine. Emo kid eventually goes to that line, actually does that. So for the rest of the soccer practice, the emo kid tried to like bump into Brent, tried to make his life difficult. Basically was just being a big butt the entire time. But thankfully, right, that nothing really happened. He didn't bump into Brent successfully again. In fact, the emo kid, most of the time when he tried to bump into Brent would do some like very slick soccer move, kind of like break his ankles, not literally, but you know what I mean. And the emo kid would like fall flat on his face because he kind of like tried to run into Brent, and then Brent sidestepped him and completely swerved out of his way. Anyways, though, things start to get a little bit more interesting because throughout the next day, Brent and Emily are talking it up. It's kind of like the known thing for the camp that like those two were kind of like the unofficial soccer camp couple. I don't know if your camps had stuff like that, but this was true for the soccer camp. And word was that like the two of them, they were gonna kiss soon. Oh my God, guys, isn't that like 12th base or something? So sure enough, right, one of these days, so like a day later, Emily and Brent are just sitting with each other at lunch. They're kind of on like a quote-unquote date or whatever. And that's when a girl comes over and sits next to them. And Emily's like, oh, this is my friend Robin. And Robin's like, hey guys, like, I just want to let you know, Emily, that the kid over there, and points to the emo kid, is planning to ask you out soon. And Emily's like, dude, I don't know that kid. I've never spoken to him in my life. And Brent's like, oh my God, I know exactly who that kid is. Emily's like, what? And Brent basically tells her the story that I told you guys for the last 13 minutes. And she's like, oh my God, he's the worst. And Brent's like, well, that would explain why he really hates me too. Because like, not just that I embarrassed him, but I've been hanging out with you the entire time. And, he probably knows that we've been talking a lot. And Emily laughs a little bit. And this is when Robin says, dude, like, I'm serious. This kid is going to come over and ask you out within like the next 24 hours. He's going to do it publicly. It's going to be really embarrassing. Everyone's told him not to do it, but he's in his own world. You got to let him down nicely though. And Brent was like, no mercy. Make him suffer. Emily's like, Brent, I'm not going to make him suffer. I don't know this kid. Brent's like, make him suffer. Emily's like, shh. Okay, I'm going to be nice. When he comes over, I'm going to be firm, I'm going to be direct, but I'm going to be nice about it, I'm going to be cordial, and life is going to go back to what it was before. So sure enough, right, Brent now realizes that the emo kid has a massive crush on Emily. And Brent also starts to think about it. When Emily says no to him, and when she starts really, hanging out with me more, and when word gets around that we kiss, because we totally are, this is in Brent's head, right, he's going to actually, like, ramp up the craziness even more than it already is. I think I'm screwed, boys. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment emo down below. I'm going to heart as many comments as I can that say that. That is the secret word of the day. And also, if you want to support the channel and help boost me back into the algorithm, all you got to do is at some point, maybe after this video, maybe later, sit down and watch a bunch of my videos in a row, maybe while you're playing video games or drawing or cleaning your room, or maybe to help you go to sleep. I take that as a compliment now. I understand it. Leave in the comment section down below how you're helping boost the channel. I will heart it, I will say thank you, and I'll even shout some people out, like the person on screen right now. Thank you to this person on screen and all of you guys for all the support recently. It's really helped boost the channel. We're growing again. You'll love to see it. Let's get back to the story. So anyways, flash forward to that night, or not that night, but that afternoon. Remember when this is the mixed gender, just fun, more camp activities, they're playing dodgeball. And sure enough, the emo kid and Brent actually happen to be on the same team this time. So, emo kid and Brent, they're picking up the dodgeballs, they're throwing them, they're trying to avoid being hit by the dodgeballs. And the emo kid walks over and is like, sup, bro? And Brent's like, what? Emo kid's like, I just want to let you know that, I know that you and Emily, or you have been trying to flirt with Emily, and it's been failing horribly from my sources, at least that's what my sources said. And I just want to let you know that, I let you have your fun. I let you play like the little beta little lamb you are. But I'm actually going to come in and, as the alpha male, assert my dominance and claim what is mine. Emily shall be my girlfriend by the end of tomorrow. Mark my words, and I will watch as little tears roll down your face because you're so sad that I took your girl. oh, little Brent, I'm so sorry. Brent's like, dude, she's not gonna, I've talked to her. She's gonna say no. Like, don't do it. I hate you, but I know for a fact that you're gonna get rejected in front of everyone. The emo kid's like, nice try, little boy. I know for a fact that my testosterone is 10 trillion and yours is 0. So based on that alone, plus a billion other factors, such as my manliness, my alpha maleness, my swag, overall levels, and a billion more things. Just, she will obviously say yes to me. And even if you two are fake dating, she'll break up with you immediately to say yes to me. I just know some things that you don't know, Brent. Get over it. So the emo kid walks away. And Brent's like, well, my conscience is clear because I tried to warn the kid not to do it. I tried to warn the kid, right? I'm not a bad guy. I told him not to do it. I told him. I said, I even gave him the benefit of the doubt. I said, I don't like you, but I want to help you here. He didn't listen to me. It's not my fault, whatever happens tomorrow. Next day rolls around. At soccer practice, the emo kid for the entire morning is like, Brent, better spend the last moments with Emily as you can because she's about to be my girlfriend. Oh, and Brent's like, dude, shut up, dude. He's like, oh my God, am I getting to you, man? Am I getting to you, man? Oh, man, it was so easy to break your thin, weak beta skin. Oh, my God, my words are hurting you so much. I'm going to lick up your little salty tears. They're so tasty and so good. And Brent's like, shut up, bro. You're going to get embarrassed. I can't wait for the moment. She better go hard. Anyways, flash forward to lunch. The moment. So anyways, Brent is sitting with Emily, and Emily's like, dude, the emo kid, I can't see him anywhere. And Brent's like, dude, he's going to ask you out. It's happening. Get over it. It's going to happen any second. She's like, he's going to do it the next day, which means probably now in front of everyone. And, Brent's like, that's what he said he would do. And Brent was like, oh my God, don't turn around. Because Brent was looking, and the emo kid was walking over. And what was he walking over with? He was walking over with a boom box. You already know where this is going. And Brent's like, you know what? Brace yourself. Try and have an out-of-body experience right now so you don't have to deal with what's about to happen. This is about to be bad, Emily. I'm so sorry. And Emily's like, oh my God, oh my God. And that's when you start to hear music. It's the emo kid's personal band. So it's like this heavy metal rock band. So just imagine some like heavy metal rock going in the background. And the lyrics are, Emily, Emily, why do you hang with losers like Brent? Emily, please love me. Yeah. And it's just kind of like more stuff like that in the background. And the emo kid is like rocking out by himself with an air guitar while this is all going on. It is the worst moment of Brent's life because the secondhand embarrassment is so strong, he's basically getting firsthand embarrassment from the whole thing. Everyone has stopped eating and turned around, including the camp counselors. They're just watching this kid bounce around with an air guitar with his like super long black bangs flying all around the place as this boombox plays one of the crappiest songs they've ever heard, terribly mixed, the worst lyrics, basically saying that Brent sucks and that she should be in love with him, and he's bouncing around, and then after 5 whole excruciating minutes, and everyone at this point is laughing and trying to hold themselves together, after 5 whole long excruciating minutes of the worst music ever and some like really bad air guitar and bouncing around, the song stops and the emo kid says, Emily, it is clear who you shall choose. What is your verdict? And Emily's like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. I'm not going out with you. Emo kid's like, that's hilarious. What's your actual verdict? Emily's like, dude, I don't know you. He's like, dude, that's hilarious. What's your actual verdict? And Brent's like, all right, man, that's enough. Let's concede while we're behind. The emo kid looks at Brent and says, this isn't over, man. And he walks away with his boombox. And Brent's like, why did he say that to me? I didn't dump him. And Emily's like, dude, that was worse than I could have ever imagined. And right, so Robin, the friend who warned them, came over again and said, look, I should have warned you about that. I didn't think it was real. I didn't even think that that was actually going to happen. I was told earlier this morning and I laughed. I'm so sorry. I should take anything that you hear about this kid seriously from this point on because, oh my God. And Emily's like, wait, oh no, we still have an activity tonight, like for the, like this afternoon. And Brent's like, oh my God, he said this isn't over. And sure enough, it was far from over. So they get to the activity that afternoon. So it was probably the worst possible activity that it could have been because it was small groups of charades. They kind of ran out. They had something else planned, but since it started to rain, they had to go inside. So they're like, all right, we're going to break you off into small groups of 3, and we're going to have you play charades with each other. And at this point, like, they're like, okay, what are the odds? Brent's like, what are the odds that I'm put with? And the person says, Brent, Emily, and Emo Kid. And Brent's like, you gotta be joking, man. You gotta be joking. Apparently, right, Robin tells him this, like, later on, like, once the camp is over. Apparently, because she was talking with one of the camp counselors about everything that went down. The camp counselor said that, like, once, like, it started to rain, the emo kid went up to them and asked what they were doing. Camp counselor said, oh, we're doing small groups of charades. And the emo kid requested that his 2 best friends and him were put together in a group. So it wasn't just random, it was the emo kid. But Brent didn't know that at the time. So Brent looks at Emily, and Emily looks at Brent. And they're both basically just like, oh boy. And then they both look at the emo kid, who has a massive smile on his face. So all 3 of them go away to a corner. And the emo kid's like, Emily, I might have came on too strong. And she's like, well, that's an understatement. But he's like, I will show you the truth. Brent, I challenge you to an alpha battle. Brent's just like, what's an alpha battle? Ha! You're such a beta for not knowing what an alpha battle is, beta. He's like, an alpha battle will be proof that I am alpha and you are a weak beta. And then Emily will choose me. And Emily's like, I'm not. And he's like, wait, your heart will tell you otherwise after the alpha battle. Emily's like, okay, I'm still not going to. She's like, God, stop, silence, woman. And Brent was like, whoa, chill out, dude. He's like, you silence too? We're having an alpha battle right now. So, right, this just kind of looks like they're doing really weird charades from afar, but the emo kid is like, all right, let's form our best wolf poses. Brent's like, what? He said, form your best wolf poses, now! And emo kid, Brent's like, all right. Ooh, emo kid's like, that is the worst wolf pose I've ever seen. You were definitely not part wolf like I am. And the emo kid does this really weird pose. He's like, oh my God, I'm wolfing so hard right now. This is the most emo thing. I mean, the most alpha thing I've ever done. Oh my God. At this point, Emily's like, guys, you are both embarrassing yourselves. Emo kid, it's like, no, you will see that I'm the most alpha. I swear. Emo kid's like, all right, let's do it. Wrestle me. And, Brent's like, what? Emo kid jumps on top of him, just tackles him to the ground. Because he's like 20 pounds heavier, right? And a little bit taller. And Brent was completely taken off guard. He's like, bro, stop. What are you doing? And the emo kid's like, I'm out alphaing you. That's when the camp counselor comes over and says, all right, guys, break it up. Tears the 2 of them apart. He's like, all right, so we're only doing this for 20 more minutes, but it looks like you 2 can't keep off of each other, so I'm going to be joining your group. Imagine how awkward this is. It is Emily, Brent, the emo kid, and a random camp counselor. So they do normal charades, right? And the entire time, the emo kid is like sneaking in punches to Brent's arm. He's like, ow. And when the camp counselor looks up, the emo kid puts his arms behind his back. And the emo kid's like, this isn't over, man. And then the emo kid walks over to Emily. He's like, tss, tss, Emily, tss. Emily's like, what? Do you think I'm more alpha? Shut up, kid. Emo kid's like, no. Okay, I'll just be direct. Do you want to go out with me? No! And the camp counselor was like, guys, silence while I'm doing charades. And Emily's like, dude, I don't want to go out with you. How many times do I need to tell you this? Emo kid's like, but I'm definitely more alpha. She's like, that's not a real thing. So the next day rolls around. It's Thursday. And that afternoon, there's no real activity. It's just known as like the soccer dance or whatever. And during the soccer dance, there's one coveted slow song where anyone who has feelings for each other might ask for like a slow song or something. And sure enough, let's just jump to the dance because the emo kid is like being a jerk to Brent all day, but that's not anything new. And sure enough, it is the dance. And they're putting on normal songs. And Emily and Robin and Brent are all together like, dude. And Robin's like, dude, the emo kid is definitely going to try and get that slow song with you. Like, Brent, you got to swoop in right away. Because at this point, Brent and Emily were, like, unofficially a thing. They're only at camp for a week, so they're not going to make, like, a long-term relationship. Let's have kids, baby. Okay, you know what I mean. But sure enough, the slow song comes on. And Brent's like, oh my God. And Emily's like, quickly. And you can see the emo kid sprinting from the other side of the room. So Emily and Brent quickly like get together in the slow song, kind of like whatever. And Emily's standing there and she feels Brent being ripped off of him. And the emo kid grabs Brent, rips him off Emily and tackles him on the ground. And this is where the camp counselors are like, oh, okay, foul play, foul play. They go in, they grab the emo kid and they like run a, like they take him off. They're like, all right, buddy, this is like your third strike and you are out. So they call up the parents of the emo kid. They say, your son can't come tomorrow. He's like fighting this one kid again and again and he won't stop. And so sure enough, the emo kid was picked up, taken away, and Brent and Emily finished off with a slow song together. The next day rolls around. It is Friday. It is only a half day where basically the parents come and watch a little like soccer presentation that all the kids have done. And by the end of it, right, most people are packing up. Brent and Emily are gone. And you remember the friend Robin from the beginning. We have a story of probably one of the cringiest emo kids on planet Earth. I'm not even kidding. This is probably one of the craziest stories I've received. So sit back, relax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and let's call today's subscriber who submitted this story. Let's call him Oliver. So this all happened back in the good old days of like 2014, 2015 when like goth, emo, all that type of stuff was like super popular. And by the way, if you dress goth or emo, I literally don't care. That's a totally fine style. As long as you aren't an emo kid like this kid, you're totally cool in my book. So anyways, right, this all started when Oliver and his friends were in the mall, and this was way back in the day, and Oliver and his friends were just kind of like walking around in the mall. They were trying to figure out something to do. I mean, it was a Saturday, so I mean, who knows, like, they were trying to figure out something that they wanted to do, and Oliver's friend was like, hey man, do you mind if we stop in Hot Topic? Hot Topic is a t-shirt store that sells a lot of stores. Sells a lot of different types of t-shirts, a lot of like trending stuff, a lot of like, and since, emo and goth was kind of trending at the time, they sold a lot of shirts and attire that really fit with that outfit. Like you got like black t-shirt that says like society, and then you got like a spiky collar. I don't know, man. But anyways, right, Oliver and his friends stopped in Hot Topic, and Oliver wasn't really, there to, like, buy something, so he was kind of just walking around and chilling, and he accidentally bumps into the emo guy, or this the emo guy. I'm introducing a new guy, emo kid, whatever, we'll call him the emo kid. So anyways, right, this kid turns around, and he's got this, like, this black t-shirt on. He's got a spiky collar choker type thing. He's got black pants. He's got black shoes on. His hair is black and it's like slicked down. So he has these like massive, really weird bangs where you can't even see his face. He's like, watch where you're going, punk. And Oliver's like, sorry, man. He's like, wait, I know you, dude. You're from my school. And Oliver's like, yeah, I think we're in class together. No, I've seen you around, though, because Oliver's starting to remember this one time he saw this really weirdo-looking kid who was like, man, no one gets me. And so sure enough, the kid, the emo kid, is like, bro, I don't think you bumped into me on purpose. I think you were coming for me and my kind. And Oliver's like, dude, what are you talking about? And the emo kid's like, bro, I think we both know that you just hate the emo kids. And two other emo kids appear basically appear out of thin air. And they were like, what's this kid talking about? Like, what's going on over here? And the emo kid's like, yeah, this kid over here goes to my school and he hates me on purpose. And he just bumped into me and it was crazy. You can't do this to us, man. And the other emo kid's like, yeah. Well, what do you have against the emo kids? And at this point, right, Oliver was literally just standing in a Hot Topic t-shirt store because his friend wanted to buy a t-shirt. And Oliver's head, he's like, bro, please hurry up and get that t-shirt. But he says, look, I accidentally bumped into this kid, like this guy. I'm sorry. It's not on purpose. You can trust me. And the emo kid's like, oh, no, dude, I totally know what, like, a bump on purpose would feel like. That one felt so purposeful. Like, I literally felt the purpose in the bump. It was crazy. And Oliver's like, dude, what do you mean by that? And the emo kid's like, are you getting aggressive with me, son? Do you want to fight me, son? Oh, he wants to fight me, dude. And at this point, Oliver's like, all right, guys. All right, boys, have a good day. Oliver goes over, finds his friend. He's like, dude, I met a bunch of weirdos. They want to fight me. I literally bumped into them. And like Oliver's friend's like, all right, dude, like, that's like, oh, all right, we'll go. That's fine. And then Oliver's friend sees this like pack of like emo kids walk over, and Oliver's friend starts cracking up. He's like, bro, you can't seriously think, wait, these kids want to fight you? Dude, they're not going to do anything. They can probably barely walk here without fainting. And the kids are like waddling over. And the emo kid's like, don't think I forgot what you did, man. And so sure enough, right, Oliver and his friend, they buy the t-shirt, they leave. And, Oliver is telling his friends all about what's going down. His friends like completely laughing. They find it hilarious. And that's because Oliver thinks to himself, well, I'm never going to see these kids again. It doesn't really matter, right? Oh my God, was Oliver wrong? Because this started one of the most insane sagas that Oliver has ever had in his life. He was telling me that like he's experienced a lot of crazy things, but the story that is to follow what just happened is probably the craziest thing that ever happened to Oliver ever. So skip forward a week. An entire week has passed by, actually a little bit more because it's not a weekend. Oliver, it's a Monday morning. He gets up, he's like, oh my God, I gotta go in. So, he gets up, eats breakfast, gets on the bus. It's just like, oh my God, man, is it already Monday? Dude, that's freaking crazy. He gets into school and he's walking to his locker, all kind of like half awake or whatever. He has his backpack on. And he gets to his locker. And that's when he realizes that something's wrong. Because his locker is like halfway open. And like the lockers didn't have locks on them, but Oliver always like closed it by the end of the day. He'd grab his backpack and he would shut it all the way and it would close. And he noticed it was halfway open, which was weird because no other lockers were halfway open. I mean, some were, but they were very obvious. The people just left them open or whatever. And Oliver goes up to his locker and he opens it very close, like very, very slowly. And that's when he sees a little something in the background. He sees a little something in the very far back of his locker. So he gets his iPhone 3 or whatever, opens up his flashlight app, or I remember when that was a thing, shines it, and sure enough, he sees in the back of his locker in black marker, he sees a skull and crossbones scribbled on there, and then said, "You're next, fear us." And at this point, Oliver is like, what? Huh? What? What? What's going on here, boys? Why? And so sure enough, Oliver hits up his friend. He's like, bro, did you do this? And his friend's like, dude, no, I'm not cringe. and Oliver's like, all right, well, if it wasn't you guys, well then who could it, that's really weird. And remember, the whole emo experience, the emo kid thing that happened at Hot Topic over a week ago was a pretty crazy experience, but at that time, Oliver had completely forgotten. Because don't forget that the main emo kid actually went to Oliver's school, and Oliver recognized him from being in the hallways once. So Oliver didn't even think for a second, he didn't even think of the emo kids when he was like, all right, who's probably going to be the one, who did this? Who's most likely that probably went through and was trying to mess with me or whatever. And Oliver just didn't even think of the emo kid. So give it a couple days, right? A couple days later, Oliver is kind of towards the end of school. And most people are gone, Oliver's just waiting. It's after class. Oliver's waiting to go be picked up. But then he's like, oh shoot, I forgot my backpack. I don't know, that happens or whatever. So Oliver's walking back to his locker. And this is where it's actually a little creepy because he starts walking back to his locker and it's he looks at his locker and it's just scribbled in black pen. Nothing else, no other lockers. It says his locker has all these black X's all over them. And it's done in Sharpie or whatever, but he's like, okay, whatever, this is kind of serious because he looks around and no one else is around him. So this is kind of weird now. He's definitely feeling kind of uncomfortable at the moment. So he goes in there and he goes to grab his backpack and he sees a piece of paper sitting there. So he grabs the piece of paper. He realizes it's a letter, but he doesn't read it yet because he grabs his backpack, he gets on out of there, and he goes out of the school. And now he's standing where, people are getting picked up or whatever. And this is where he feels more comfortable to actually read the letter. So he opens up the letter, and it says, I'm going to try and read it in the emo kid voice.
Don't think you could have gotten away from us, man. You emo kids have not forgotten your sins, and you shall pay for them. Next time, don't mess with the popular loners ever again.
And then it had this weird raven at the bottom, and apparently that was the emo guild crest or whatever, dude. I don't know. But at this point, Oliver's like, oh my god, it's the freaking emo kid that I bumped into at the Hot Topic. That's the kid behind all this, or whatever. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to, next time I see him, I'm just going to tell him to leave me alone, and I'm just going to scare him. He's full of nothing, right? He's full of nothing. And so sure enough, the next day rolls around, and he gets on the bus, and once again, Oliver isn't even really thinking about the weird stuff going on, but he gets on the bus, and he's half awake, and he's looking. You know how you walk down the bus, and you can see all the people sitting in the seats? He looks in the way back, and he's stops for a second, because he sees something that's very reckoned that he remembers. Long black hair, bangs in the front of the face. And he's like, oh my god, wait, that's the emo kid. And all of a sudden, he hears from the back of the bus, well, hello there, Oliver. Why don't you sit next to me? And Oliver's like, how does he know my name? Whatever. And Oliver's like, all right, well, this is going to be actually a great opportunity for me to sit down and kind of scare this kid and tell him to basically to piss off, right? So Oliver gets to the back of the bus and he sees the emo kid and he sits there. He's like, dude, I don't know what's up with you, but why do you keep doing weird things to my locker? And he says, and the emo kid's like, so you've noticed that the emo guild has noticed your presence and has decided that you are mortal enemy number one. And Oliver's like, what? The emo kid's like, so you must not know about the emo guild. Well, someone so ignorant as you probably would have known that anyways. But anyways, the emo guild is the guild of all the emos in our area. They get together, and since everyone's a hater and part of society, we've decided to guild together and join our forces. And if anyone strikes one of us, we will all combine and strike them down 20 times as hard. And Oliver's like, all right, man, well, you struck pretty hard with the locker. Scared me, got me good. And the emo kid's like, nice try, Oliver, if that even is your real name. Oliver's like, yes, that's my birth name. And he's like, whatever, you don't even know what's coming next. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video and are busy doing something, comment emo down below. I'll try and heart as many comments to say that. Then also, if you want to support the channel, binge watch these videos while you're doing something, and let me know in the comment section down below what you're doing while binge watching these videos. Binging the video supports the channel so much, and I appreciate it. And also, I'll be shouting out random people who tell me how they're supporting the channel, like these people on screen right now. Thank you. Let's get back to the story. So eventually the bus gets to the bus stop where the school is. Oliver gets up and the emo kid's like, wait, you must know that you are facing off against the emo clan and you will not have any idea of what's coming. And Oliver's like, all right, can I at least get your name so I can know who I'm facing off against? Fine, I guess that is only what a respectable duelist would do anyways, so fair. I am Sir Ben, the great wizard archduke nemesis Leonardo DiCaprio III. And Oliver's like, so your name's Ben? Yes, whatever, that is my mortal name. And Oliver's like, okay, Ben. It is Ben! And he's like, all right, I don't need to hear it. Fine. Okay. Bye. So Oliver walks away and is like, all right. Oliver's thinking on this. He's like, you know what? These kids are weird and they have way too much time on their hands. So I don't really want to see what weird concoction of weird stuff they decide to put in my locker or whatever they decide to do. I don't want to see it. So you know what? I'm going to strike back. I'm going to figure out everything about this Ben kid, and I'm going to have a little ammunition to, I'm not going to say blackmail him, but blackmail him. Yeah, it just is what it is, man. I'm sorry. Like, they're playing dirty. I'm playing dirty. Sorry. So sorry. If you don't hate the player, hate the game. Right? So anyways, Oliver immediately starts hitting up all of his friends. He's like, do you know this Ben kid? They're like, no, I don't know this Ben kid. One kid's like, yeah, he's the weird emo kid. He's like, all right, what do you know about him? He's like, he's weird and emo or something. And Oliver's like, you're no help. So anyways, Oliver eventually talks to his friend Stormy, who's a girl. And, Oliver's like, hey, sorry, I'm trying to find, this weird kid is like trying to like beef with me. I just want to find dirt on him. Do you know this kid, Ben? Stormy's like, oh, do I know Ben? And Oliver's like, yes, you know something, let's go. And he's like, please tell me whatever. Stormy's like, well, you know Kate, right? And Ben's like, no, not Ben, sorry. Oliver's like, yeah, I know Kate. So Ben, the emo kid guy that's like being weird with you, is what Stormy's saying, has a massive crush on Kate. And Kate knows it. And, Kate hasn't necessarily said no to him yet because he hasn't made any advances. And Oliver's like, thank you. That's all I need. Can I talk to Kate for a second? And, Stormy's like, yeah, sure, like, whatever. So eventually, Stormy sets Kate and Oliver up. And Oliver's like, hey, please. He explains the entire situation. And Kate's like, look, Ben, the emo kid, has been weird to me for a very long time. Like, I used to think it was this funny, but he's weird. He keeps looking at me. He keeps professing his love to me. You know what? I'll team up with you. We'll take him down. Oliver's ecstatic at this point. So basically, they come up with a plan. If next time the emo kids strike, Oliver is going to find the emo kid and ask for, like, mercy. And if the emo kid doesn't give him mercy, and, Oliver doesn't actually expect him to give him mercy, basically, assuming the emo kid doesn't give him mercy, Oliver is going to say, well, I'm going to give you one more chance to give me mercy. And the emo kid's he's going to be like, what do you mean? Like, I have the upper ground. And then all of a sudden, Oliver is going to, like, pull out, like, basically text message conversation with Kate, which is going to be fabricated, about how, like, he knows someone perfect for her, and how, like, Oliver's friend, who we'll just call Bob. No, we're going to call him, what should we call him? Oliver's friend Ryan is, like, perfect for Kate, and the truth is, Kate has, like, a crush on Ryan, and Oliver's basically going to say, hey, if you do anything else, I'm going to set up Ryan and Kate. And Kate already thinks Ryan is super attractive, and Ryan is down to get with her, and I have all the power to connect them, and you will never be able to date Kate, you'll never be able to date Kate ever again, and this will destroy the emo kid. So anyways, after this plan is done, once again, Oliver is walking back to his locker. And sure enough, once again, and he reported last time all the X's and stuff, and the janitor came and cleaned it up. And he goes to the locker, and sure enough, there is this, like, crudely drawn black raven, and then it says emo guild underneath it. And so, Oliver's like, all right, they struck again. Let's see if this kid's on the bus. So the next day, Oliver is really hoping that the emo kid takes the bus again, because this would be kind of difficult to go and find him. But sure enough, the emo kid is sitting in the back with his, like, weird, super long hair that's, like, covering his entire face. He's wearing, like, he has this, like, robe today, this, like, black cape or whatever or something. He's sitting there, and he's like, Oliver, do you want to sit next to me and... because I don't know if you've seen your locker yesterday, but it has a little, I don't know, it has a little something on it. And Oliver's like, yes, Ben, I know. I was wondering if we could talk about, maybe a surrender, my surrender. And the emo kid's like, I knew it. I knew you were weak. I knew you were sad. But no, I will not show you mercy. I will just not do it. It's not in the way of the emo guild. Because you're a part of society. Freak society, bro. And Oliver's like, look, Ben, I'm going to give you one more chance to reconsider. And the emo kid's like, what? Give me a chance to reconsider? You're asking me for my forgiveness. I will not reconsider anything. And Oliver's like, fine. I know about Kate. The emo kid's like, what? You know about my love? I can barely keep a straight face doing this. Anyways, emo kid's like, you know about my love? And Oliver's like, yes. In fact, I know more than that. You know Kate, right? well, I have a friend, Ryan. He's a good-looking man. And I was talking to Kate, and I was talking to her about Ryan. And I just asked her, what she thought. And Kate confessed to me that she really thinks Ryan is so attractive. And you know who's my best friend? Ryan. You know who Ryan finds attractive? Kate. And with a snap of my fingers, Mr. Emo Man, I could set the two of them up. And you will never have a chance to date her for the rest of high school or middle school. Or I don't care, right? For the rest of high school. And I mean, it's not like that Ben, the emo kid, was going to date her anyways, but the emo kid was like, no, what do you want, you cruel beast, you cruel monster? I don't know why you put my love up like that. You can have whatever you want. You can have my riches. You can have my gold. You can have my Twilight limited edition series book signed by the author himself. You can have anything of mine. And Oliver's like, dude, I just want you and your weirdo friends to stop. Emo kid's like, the emo guild is not gonna like this. They'll know that I have a weakness and I might be kicked out of the emo guild. No. And Oliver's like, all right, well, if they're not gonna stop, if your buddies aren't gonna stop, you and your weirdos aren't gonna stop harassing me, well then, you know what? Kate and my friend Ryan are gonna be sitting in a tree. Emo kid's like, no, don't say it. Don't say it. K-I-S, no, S-I-N, no, G, no. Fine, Oliver, you cruel monster. You can have whatever you want then. Fine, we'll do it. No, nothing more will happen. I'll tell the emo guild that you surrendered to me and I was merciful because that's part of the emo guild. And Oliver's like, didn't you say that was the opposite? It doesn't matter, Oliver. I'm trying to work with you, idiot. And Oliver's like, okay, you know what? If this is true, Kate and Ryan, they're not going to be like that. But just so you know, if you or one of your little emo friends do anything to me, anything, Kate and Ryan are a thing. Emo kid's like, fine, you drive a hard bargain. I'll call off the attacks. And from that point on, Oliver has never received another emo style, I don't even know if you could call it an attack, but he never received weird stuff in his locker or weird carvings of the emo guild or anything like that. And he lived happily ever after. Yeah. Today we got a story of this kid who thinks that he's a wizard and tries to put spells on the subscriber, bro. It's pretty funny, so sit back, relax, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in the story, let's call him Jacob. So Jacob's in middle school, I don't know exactly what grade, but there's this kid in his class that was always kind of known as like the strange kid, and he was kind of known as the strange kid because he was known as the kid who last year ran into the girls' bathroom and said, "Hi ladies, how's it going?" And then obviously got escorted out by the security guard, sent to the principal's office where they were like, bro, what are you even doing? Like, that's super weird, yada yada. And from that day forward, he was kind of just known as the weird kid. So fast forward a year later, and this happened at PE. So Jacob still had PE class, aka physical education, for any of you guys who don't call it PE. And today, what they kind of did was they mix it up every single day. They play a different sport or some different activity that was kind of like physical exercise or whatever, right? And today was dodgeball. And so basically, the class was split in two, and half the kids went on one side, one of the teams, and the other half of the kids went on the other team, and Jacob just happened to be on the weird kid's team. And we're no longer going to call him the weird kid, we're going to call him the wizard kid, as you will see quite soon why he's called the wizard kid. So anyways, right, they're playing dodgeball, and Jacob and the wizard kid are on the same team, and it's pretty close. Like, it was divided up randomly, however, it just happened to be like a super even, division. So anyways, right, Jacob's team, which is also the wizard kid's team, was starting to, fall behind a little bit. It was 5-4, and there was a lot of pressure being put on the team. And if you don't know, in dodgeball, at least the rules that they played by, you were allowed to deflect dodgeballs with your own dodgeball, and you wouldn't get in trouble. But if a stray dodgeball hit you in any part of your body before rolling on the ground, you were basically it, or you were tagged out. So anyways, this all went down when Jacob and, the wizard kid and the other two people on his team were kind of prepping and preparing for the other team to start throwing dodgeballs at them. And one of the team members on the other side threw a dodgeball really hard at Jacob. But Jacob was pretty good at deflecting the dodgeballs with his ball, so he kind of like outstretches his hand and he deflects the dodgeball. And you would be probably thinking, oh, this is a good thing, right? But no, because the dodgeball, yes, the one coming at Jacob, deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball. So Jacob is not it. However, the dodgeball deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball and hits the wizard kid. And unfortunately, by the rules that they played by, that was considered a point for the other team. So the wizard kid basically got tapped out. And Jacob felt really bad because, one, I mean, that's harming his own chances for his own team. But also, he's like, dang, I just got my own teammate out. So he looks at the wizard kid. He's like, bro, that was an accident, my fault. The wizard kid doesn't really respond, but Jacob just assumes that he was busy walking to the, where all the other team members were that were tagged out. But anyways, right, Jacob and the three remaining teammates actually end up winning. It's super close, and it's like Jacob has a 1v2 at the very end. But Jacob's probably one of the most skilled dodgeball players there. Will those skills transfer to other places in his life? Who knows, man. But at the end of the day, he was pretty good at that dodgeball. So, his whole team rejoices except the wizard kid, who is apparently still pretty mad. Jacob doesn't blame him, like the wizard kid wanted his glory too. The wizard kid was pretty good at dodgeball too, so maybe he would have been the one to do the miraculous 1v2. Who knows, man? But anyways, right, so PE is over and they're walking back to class. And Jacob is kind of walking by himself for a second, and the wizard kid runs up behind him and taps him on the shoulder, and Jacob turns around. And the wizard kid looks at him and says, bro, you just messed with a wizard. That was the worst decision of your life. Jacob at first is like, bro, what? Because he knew that this kid was weird, but he didn't know that this kid was pretended to be a wizard and put spells on people, right? So he was like, bro, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Why would I want to get my own teammate out? And the wizard kid's like, because you wanted all the glory, right? You wanted all the glory for yourself, and you got it. And you will pay the price. You just didn't know that you were messing with an actual wizard. And once again, Jacob kind of just assumed that he misspoke the first time when he said, oh, I'm a wizard, bro. But then when the weird kid, aka the wizard kid, said it again, Jacob started to realize that no, this kid was not joking. He actually thought that he was a wizard. So Jacob's like, man, seriously, I didn't mean to do it. I wanted my team to win. I didn't care if I was to get out for my team to win, I would have done it. I seriously don't care. And Jacob wasn't even lying. Sure, the glory of being the one who came back for a 1v2 to win for the team. Yeah, he's not going to lie. It was pretty sweet. However, still wasn't worth, it still wasn't worth, it wouldn't be worth losing, right? The glory, he would much rather win than have the glory taken away. But anyways, right, the next day rolls around, and this is when Jacob starts to understand why the wizard kid calls himself the wizard kid. Because he's sitting in class, and Jacob was kind of sitting towards the back of the class, and he happened to have a seat next to him open. And sure enough, right, he had one class with the weird wizard kid, right? And the wizard kid normally sat at the very, very, very front of the classroom, right? But this time, he walked all the way back and sat right next to Jacob. So Jacob right away kind of realized that this was not a coincidence. And the wizard kid is like, hey, do you want to see something? And Jacob's like, bro, what? Class is starting. Because the teacher had already started to be like, all right, class, turn a page, whatever. And Jacob's like, bro, we got to pay attention. Sure, maybe after class, but not now. And the wizard kid's like, all right, too bad then. And Jacob's like, okay. So Jacob takes out his textbook and is starting to open to the page that he's supposed to be. And then sure enough, right, the wizard kid says, hey, Jacob, turn, look at me. And Jacob's like, dude, what? And as he turns his face, the wizard kid blows a pile of glitter into his face. And Jacob starts coughing. He's like, bro, what did you do that for? And then the wizard kid starts going, oobily doobily, oobily doobily, just some real nonsense, pretending it's wizard speak or whatever. And he's like, ha, you just got a curse put on you. And sure enough, right, the teacher looks over, and I think the teacher was just having a bad day, because the teacher's like, you two, go to the principal's office. You're being a distraction. And I mean, Jacob is kind of looking at the teacher like, I was just here, I was just sitting here, and the teacher's like, did you not hear me? Both of you go to the principal's office. Kind of just because I think the teacher was having a bad day and just assumed that they were both being distracting and disrespectful and not paying attention. And the wizard kid is like, look, the curse is already working. And Jacob turns to the wizard kid and is like, bro, if the curse is working, why are you sent to the principal's office as well? And the wizard kid really didn't have a reply besides, the curse is working, bro. I'm sorry that you're so mad and can't accept it. Real quick, comment wizard down below if you want to heart in your comment. I'm going to be out most of the day, so I don't know how many comments I'll be able to heart, so please don't take it personally if you don't get a heart. But I will be looking for comments that say wizard to go ahead and heart them. And also, if you want to support the channel in the best way you possibly can, binge watch some videos either via playlists or in the recommended. And if you're doing so, please comment that you're doing so like these people so that I can heart your comment, reply and say thank you, and let me know what you're doing when you're binge watching the videos. It's always cool to know. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, Jacob and the wizard kid are walking down the halls to the principal's office, and Jacob is just like, bro, like, I'm not trying to, like, mess with any of this. Like, I'm just trying to learn in class. I'm trying to, like, get my hours in. Why are you doing all this to me? And the wizard kid is like, because you decided to disrespect me in dodgeball. And I told you you'd suffer the consequences. It looks like one of my spells is working. Maybe if you're nice enough to me, I will issue a counter spell. And Jacob does not believe it, and it's like, bro, you're obviously not a wizard. Like, oh, a counter spell would do as much good as, like, an actual spell. And the wizard kid gets really butthurt at this, and it's like, I am a wizard. Can you not tell that, like, the curse I put on you sent us both to the principal's office? And Jacob goes on to say, as they're walking to the principal's office, bro, I don't believe it actually worked, because if the curse was actually effective, it would just be me going to the principal's office, not both of us. Sure enough, they eventually get to the principal's office, and the principal is kind of just like, all right, guys, I got a note from your teacher, or an email, I guess not a note, that you were, like, being distracting in class and distracting others and distracting yourself. Like, can you just tell me what was going on? And the wizard kid is like, ha, I put a spell on him. And the principal's like, okay, and then turns to Jacob, like, why are you here? And Jacob's like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I was just sitting here, and this kid decides to, like, quote unquote, put a spell on me, which basically just means blows, like, I don't know, not fairy dust, but, like, sparkles and stuff into my face and then say a bunch of nonsense. And then for some reason, I got in trouble too. And when, like, Jacob said for some reason, the wizard kid turns and says, not for some reason, because of the curse. And Jacob's like, you're not a wizard, bro. Like, there's no curse. And the principal's like, guys, I don't know what's going on. I think it's just like, both you guys just go to detention later today and we'll be done with this. And Jacob's like, what? And the wizard kid is like, heh. The curse continues to work. And Jacob once again says, I will reiterate this, but if it was actually a curse, why are you receiving the same punishment as me? And the wizard kid is like, you're just mad because you're realizing the curse is real. And Jacob's just so mad at this point. He's like, bro, this is so stupid. So sure enough, Jacob and, the wizard kid, they go back to class, and, Jacob he's just not paying attention because he's just so mad that he has to go in and, he has to go to detention later that day. He's not trying to do that. And sure enough, time eventually comes around, and it's time for them to go to detention. And Jacob and the wizard kid, they get up and, they walk over and they go into detention, and there's like a few other kids there or whatever. And sure enough, right, Jacob sits on the back, and the wizard kid sits right next to him, and Jacob's like, bro, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to sit next to you. Can you please just leave me alone? And the wizard kid's like, well, if you don't believe in my spells, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till you believe it. And Jacob's like, fine, put as many spells as you want on me. Like, trust me. Anything that's happened today is just bad luck on my part. And the fact that you're getting the punishment too kind of proves to me that these spells aren't real. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to, how we're getting. So basically, they had a pretty big test that they were getting back. They did it about a week ago, but they were receiving their grades back the next day. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to put a spell on you. And because of the spell, you're going to fail the major test we're getting back. And Jacob's like, well, I know I did pretty well on it because I knew the answers to basically every question, and the teacher's already graded them, so it's not like the grade will be changed, so sure, let's, put a spell on it, right? And Jacob's like, well, how about you also put a spell on your test to make you do well, so that I'll fail and you get an A. And if that actually happens, both of those things happening, right? I'll believe that you're a wizard.
all bow down, all accept your glory as a ruler or whatever, right? The wizard kid's like, fine, like, fair enough. And the wizard kid, like, takes out a little stick and starts waving it around, is like, biddly boodly, goodly billy. It just says something like nonsense or whatever. And so at this point, Jacob was like, all right, well, this is going to prove to this kid that, like, his wizard powers are fake, because I know for certain that, you know, I did well. However, Jacob is starting to feel like, wait, because remember, dude's in middle school, don't make fun of him, but he's like, wait, what if this kid actually does have wizard powers? What if this kid can actually put a spell on me, right? And he's like, no, that's ridiculous, Jacob, come on now. But Jacob's like, wait, did I just give myself an F? But then he realizes, wait, no, like, come on now, like, okay, obviously, I did well on this test. And the kid's gonna realize tomorrow that he's a fraud. Sure enough, eventually, you know, detention or, I don't know, whatever they were in, it ends, and the next day rolls around, and they go back to the class where they both had a major assessment being passed back. And this time, right, Jacob makes sure that the wizard kid sits right next to him. He's like, all right, well, we're gonna see if your spell actually works. And the wizard kid is like super, I don't know, he's like, super full of himself. He's like, I don't know why you would want to fail an assignment you work so hard on, like, just because, like, you wanted to testify as actually a wizard, like, that's so ridiculous. You just played yourself, bro, stuff like that. But sure enough, right, the teacher eventually goes around and starts handing back the tests. And the first test that was handed out was Jacob's, and yeah, Jacob got an A on the assessment. So he takes the paper, flips it around, and shows it to the wizard kid. He's like, oh, looks like your spell didn't work. And he's like, well, so, and Jacob's like, all right, just admit it, checkmate, I got you. And he's like, well, the problem is actually that, I just didn't do the spell properly. And Jacob's like, all right, well, did you do the spell properly for your test? And the wizard kid's like, oh, yes, 100%, I'm getting an A on this. And to be fair, Jacob was definitely kind of like, he was kind of being a little risky here, because the wizard kid maybe was also like really smart or cheated or something, but for some reason, maybe the wizard kid actually did get an A. But Jacob was kind of like assuming that the kid was going to be too busy doing spells to actually study. So sure enough, the teacher hands back the wizard kid's paper, and you could already tell that the kid did not do well, because the teacher handed back every single test face up except for the wizard kid's test, handed that one face down. And yeah, sure enough, the wizard kid flips over the paper, and Jacob is watching, and there's a big F in a red circle. And the wizard kid, after seeing the F, quickly flips over his paper again, and is like, look at that, I actually got an A. Looks like my spells are right. And Jacob's like, bro, I saw the F. Like, I know you failed this. You're probably too busy doing the spells to actually study. The wizard kid's like, no, bro, I got an A. And, like, I think Jacob did this quick enough that the wizard kid was just not able to react. Because sure enough, right, Jacob reaches over and quickly flips over the wizard kid's paper, and there's a big, massive F and a circle on it, being like, oh, so you got an A now? The wizard kid's like, that's just a typo. You can ask the teacher. And the wizard kid kind of just said that because, like, obviously Jacob's not allowed to say, hey, what did this random classmate get on this major assignment? Like, the teacher's going to be like, mind your own beeswax, bro. Like, obviously. So Jacob's like, all right, wizard kid, you proved to me that you are not a wizard. He's like, no, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till, like, you realize. And, yeah, so for the rest of the week, the wizard kid would come in and blow, like, bubbles on him, or, like, I don't know, fairy dust, or all this kind of stuff, and like say a bunch of random stuff. But yeah, Jacob did not have any other negative side effects that happened that week. And the wizard kid eventually realized that, yeah, he was not a wizard, and that he was not able to convince Jacob that he was a wizard. So eventually, the dude stopped, and yeah, Jacob was able to get back to his normal life.
Today's story is about a Minecraft kid that every day he came in, he somehow smelled worse and refused to shower because it would impair his gaming or something. I don't even know, man. Anyways, sit back, relax, leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing, and let's get right into it. So we're going to call today's subscriber who sent in this story. You can do so at Discord, link in description. Anyways, we're going to call him Ben because that's a meme on the channel, and we're just going to keep it up. So anyways, right, Ben, he was in 5th grade. And, in his class, he was assigned one day, he was there, he went in, just started off as a normal day, as all these stories do. And he went in one day, and, the teacher was, announcing this kind of like big project that they were doing. It was going to be a 2-week-long project, so it was going to be a pretty big deal. And the groups were assigned randomly as he kind of like, beforehand, like before class, he went to like a random number generator, assigned a name next to every, like he went really all out on it. And he kind of like randomized the groups. And as he was reading them out aloud, Ben, heard the names and he was like, oh, one of the names is one of Ben's closest friends, but also one of the names was like this kid who was known for like kind of just like, I don't know how to say it, like, look, being a Minecraft kid does not mean you enjoy Minecraft. Obviously, you can see the gameplay in the background of this video, and I think the game's pretty cool. I've been playing it for a while, and I have a lot of great memories. However, right, Minecraft kid on this channel is denoted to the kids that are If you're a Minecraft kid, you're a Minecraft kid. If you know, you know. That's all I can say. He also wore the same green creeper hoodie every single day without washing it, but we'll get into that in a second. But anyways, right, Ben was listening to the names, and one of them was the Minecraft kid, who he never really had a lot of interactions with, but kind of knew him as, like, that kid. But he's like, okay, whatever, I'm friends with someone the group is someone I don't know, one of my close friends, and this Minecraft kid. How bad could it actually be? Anyways, right, so they sit down and they start working out the game plan for this project, because obviously they have a lot to do, because, it's 2 weeks long. They're not going to be given 2 weeks to do nothing. So as soon as Ben starts talking about, all right, so let's divvy up the work and figure out, what are we going to do in class? Let's have a timeline, and also what people are going to do, at home. And he just said, if anyone has any, reasons they can't do something on a certain day, or they're gone, or they're busy or something, please let me know, as that'll affect how I distribute the work. And the Minecraft kid immediately pipes up and says, I don't know how much work I can do at home. I've, been very serious with my gaming recently. And Ben is like, all right, bro, I respect the grind, but at the end of the day, I don't know if that's, a legitimate reason not to be doing work, because, hey, man, if he's not doing the work, that doesn't mean the work goes away. It literally just means that one of the other people has to, take it over, Ben has to take it over instead. And Ben's not trying to do a lot more work than he needs to do. That's pretty understandable. But the Minecraft kid says, no, man, it's super, super serious. I could be making a lot of money. And by the way, spoiler, the Minecraft kid couldn't. He was thinking of playing in Minecraft tournaments, which I don't even think exist. I don't think there is a competitive gaming scene for Minecraft. I'm pretty sure I watched a video on why that failed or something. But anyways, right, he was like, bro, I'm playing for the MLG, bro. It's gonna happen. I just need to grind harder. And then the Minecraft kid goes on to tell everyone at the table what, extreme measures he's been taking to, grind out Minecraft. The first thing he says is he brings a mouse into class every day to practice jitter clicking. And if you don't know, jitter clicking is basically just when you click your mouse really quickly, but you do it by vibrating your wrist. I don't really know. I can't personally do it. I'm not about to try, but it gets you more clicks per second, which in a certain version of Minecraft is better for combat, because on some servers you take less knockback and your more hits register. I don't know the science behind it or anything, right? So, and Ben in the back of his mind was like, I thought I heard a little noise. For the last couple weeks, he'd been hearing this really faint, kind of pitter patter noise of and he had no idea what it was, because Minecraft kid sat in the way back and Ben sat middle front, so he wasn't 100% sure what the noise was, but he's in his head he's all right, that explains that. But then the Minecraft kid goes on to explain some more uncleanly, right, some not so very clean methods he's been using. Secret word of the day is shower, so comment shower, I'll try and heart it. Anyways, right, so basically, the Minecraft kid goes on to explain that showers take way too much time. At this point, Ben and his friend kind of look at each other bro, what are you talking about? Look, in the United States, there's kind of people tend to shower a little bit too much, right? It's bad for the skin, you don't actually need to, scrub your hair, and you don't have to shower 3 times a day, bro. You just don't have to. If anything, it's worse for you. However, right, showering is a good thing. Please do it, at least eventually. You don't have to do it every day or every 5 seconds, right, bro? But just try and do it eventually. Try and do it at least a little bit. That's honestly all I ask at this point. But the Minecraft kid was explaining how he's not showered for the last week. Because he's like, you know what? It takes up too much time. That's at least 15 to 20 minutes where he could be practicing his Minecraft gaming. At this point, right, Ben and his friend look at each other like, bro. Bro. Like, they were in 5th grade, right? But even then, Ben was like, he knew that was ridiculous. He's just like, bro. And then the Minecraft kid goes on to explain that, while he hasn't implemented this following tactic yet, he thinks it's really going to be able to transform his gameplay. So they're a little curious what this mysterious tactic that he hasn't done yet is. And the Minecraft kid goes on to say that, yeah, he's not going to change his clothes. So the creeper hoodie that he was wearing today, he's not going to change it, and he's not going to wash it, because it's going to take, just like Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs or whatever, right? It's going to take too much mental energy away from, like, what he could be using to strategize better PvP in Minecraft. And Ben was just looking at him, like, his mouth was, like, if Ben wasn't, like, controlling his mouth, like, his mouth would have just dropped at this point. Just like, are you serious, bro? So anyways, right at this point, Ben and his friend are just, like, looking at each other like, this kid, bro. This kid is crazy, bro. This kid is out of this world. So Ben's friend actually eggs him on and says, dude, I don't believe you. And the Minecraft kid said, is that a challenge? Is this a quest like I can complete in Bed Wars? And Ben just rolls his eyes at that comment. But, Ben's friend is a little bit, like, I don't want to say, like, mischievous, because I wouldn't say that's the case, but he definitely enjoys a good show. So he says, yeah, man. Yeah, actually, no, I am. This is a challenge. This is actually a challenge, man. This is a challenge. If you can complete all those things and prove it, right, somehow, you will have my respect forever. You didn't even have to offer up, like, an actual prize. And the Minecraft kid said, then it's a deal. And Ben just looks at his friend with this look of, like, why? Because Ben knew that, the Minecraft kid was actually going to go through with it, and that he was going to have to sit with the Minecraft kid every single day for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, sure enough, every single day when they came in for class, Ben noticed the kid was wearing the same shirt, and on one of the days, he actually noticed that there was like a certain stain on the shirt, probably from lunch or something, and hoodie. And every single day for the next 2 weeks, he would look at the hoodie, he would look for where the stain was, and sure enough, the stain was still there, and it would have been easily washed away, right, if that hoodie was washed or anything. And every single day, the Minecraft kid came in, and even though Ben was across the table from him, by the first weekend, yeah, no, he could definitely smell the Minecraft kid. There was no question about it at that point. So how the project worked was it was kind of like a big group project, but it was also like visually heavy. Like there was a lot of visuals involved in the project. So on the final day when it was due, there was like a project fair type thing where one person would stay at the table. Everyone would designate like one person to stay at the table, and the other three would go around, and in this like notebook, they would like take notes about the other person's work or whatever to submit it to the teacher. I don't know, maybe just to make it easier to grade or just like give them something to do that was kind of fun. And the Minecraft kid on that day, because after 2 weeks had passed, they'd finished the project, they didn't really give a lot of work to the Minecraft kid because he was busy gaming, and at this point they kind of were just like, dude, we're just gonna do the work ourselves. This is just so interesting to watch anyways, we don't really care. So the Minecraft kid didn't do a lot of the work, but at the end of the day the project was finished and they did a pretty good job. And the Minecraft kid said, guys, I appreciate you guys like allowing me to like craft away or something cringe like that. And he's like, so I will be the one who stays and explains the project. And they're like, dude, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'm very sure. So they're like, all right, man, like I kind of want to see the other projects anyways. So by this time, right, Ben was sitting on the other side of the table and he could like barely breathe. Like imagine spoiled milk plus onions plus I can't think of anything right. Just imagine something that smells really bad. I know, perfect description. It's almost like you're there. I'm describing it so well, it's almost like you're there. With the words, the beautiful words, it smells bad. But anyways, right, this kid was smelling like spoiled milk that was spilled behind your bed that you find, the puddle of, curdled milk 6 months later. That's the best thing I could give as a description. As well, his like hoodie was like also reeked, but also was full of like stains and hair and just gross stuff. But he's sitting at the table, and Ben and his friend and the third kid, right, they decide to go, they walk around, but Ben is like, he witnesses, right, because he kind of like, he wants to know what other people's interactions are, and he's not really paying attention to the first place that he goes to visit, and he has like his other two friends take notes and such, and he just turns around and watches as this group of girls goes to sit at their table, and they all stand up, and one of them kind of like is like, oh my god, and the Minecraft kid's like, what? And they're like, nothing. We're good. We're just going to sit farther away so we can view your project better. We're just nearsighted. And he's like, nearsighted? Yeah. They're like, we're all nearsighted. And he's like, I don't know if that's how it works. And they're like, yep, it's how it works. So they all stand like 5 feet away from the table, which he's sitting on the other side of, as he explains the project. And Ben, like, nudges his friend, is like, dude, do you just hear what happened? And Ben's friend was kind of paying attention to it. He's like, yeah, bro. Oh my God. Anyways, right, probably like the most interesting part happens at the very end of the class, because that's when one person goes up and hands the project in to the teacher, right? Oh God, I got something stuck in my throat, bro. Anyways, right, so the Minecraft kid decides to go up at the end of class and hand the teacher the project. So he grabs the project, goes up to the front of the class, and Ben just like nudges his friend again. He's like, dude, let's just watch. Let's just see what happens. And sure enough, from far away, they can't hear what the Minecraft kid says or what the teacher says, but they're just watching the look on the teacher's face. The teacher has kind of like a neutral / slight smile on his face as people come up and like bring him stuff. And the Minecraft kid goes up and gets really close for some reason to hand it in. And you can see the teacher's face go from like a flat expression to just like, his face is like goes pale, bro. He's like, oh, he kind of like coughs for a second. He's like, and you can kind of like make out him saying thank you. And the Minecraft kid walks back, and the teacher takes out his like notebook and writes down a note as soon as that happens. And he's not written down a note during the entire class period, besides when he went around before during the fair type thing and like took some notes for people's work or whatever. And yeah, sure enough, the next day, the teacher said, hey, can you guys get into your groups, get into your partners? It's like, we're going to have a little celebratory thing because that was a really big deal. And I thought you'd have like a little goodbye thing with your group. It's only going to be like 10 minutes or whatever. So they go back to like the table, and the group gets there. It's Ben, his friend, the random person, and then they see the Minecraft kid sitting down, and there's no pungent smell, and he's actually changed his clothes. And Ben like looks at him and says, bro, what happened to the streak? Because it was pretty apparent that one, he showered, and two, he was in a different outfit now. And he's like, I'm so mad, bro, at the teacher. And they're just like, dude, what do you mean? Like, we got the grade back. We got like a 91. We killed it. And the Minecraft kid's like, no, Ben, it's not that. We did great on the project, like killing it, whatever, right? The problem is that the teacher emailed my mom saying I didn't smell very good, and it was alarming. And then my mom made me shower and wash my clothes, and I lost so much efficiency in my Minecraft. I will never become an MLG pro. And Ben and his friend just look at each other. And then they look at the Minecraft kid and they're like, bro, I think you're going to be just all right. We get a story of these anime kids that go completely insane and try and like fight the subscriber with these really weird things. I don't want to spoil the story. I know you'll enjoy it. Subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber, let's call him Clarence. And right off the bat, I just got to let you know that like if you like anime, literally nothing wrong with that. In fact, I enjoy a little bit of anime myself. I mean, you got yourself some Death Note, some Attack on Titan. No spoilers. I've not finished the last couple episodes. I will ban you from my comments forever. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, this all happened one day when Clarence was just chilling in class. And there was a group of 3 kids who always sat in the back of the room, and they always wore like anime t-shirts or sweatshirts or whatever, and they were kind of known as like the anime kids. They were known for this not just because they would always wear like anime t-shirts and sweatshirts or whatever, but they would literally only communicate to each other with anime references. And one of them sat like L from Death Note, just little, which I don't know, that's just funny to me, man. I've tried sitting like that. It hurts, bro. I was like, oh, dude, I guess is this gonna give me 50% more brain power like L? No, it just makes my feet hurt. But anyways, right, Clarence didn't really interact with them that much. They kind of stuck to themselves. However, on one fateful day, when Clarence was walking in the halls and he accidentally bumps into one of them, and then the other 2, all 3 of them, the one he bumped into and the other 2 that were walking with him, right, they all turn and look at Clarence. And they give him this look. And Clarence is like, oh, my fault, like I wasn't looking where I was going. They don't say anything. They just stare at him intensely. And he's like, like, my fault, guys. Like, I'm sorry. That's on me. Like, my bad. Like, I'm so, like, why are you staring at me? This is making me uncomfortable. And the anime kids didn't say a word. They just kept walking. And Clarence legitimately thought nothing of it because dude just bumped into someone and then said, my fault, I wasn't looking where I was going. And yes, they were a little weird, not responding at all. It was a little creepy. It was a little uncomfortable. But Clarence legitimately, within 5 seconds, completely forgot about what just happened until the next day rolled around. So the next day, right, it's recess, and Clarence is just outside, and his friends, I don't know, they're doing something else right now, or Clarence does have friends, but for some reason, he's just alone at that very moment. And the 3 anime kids come up to Clarence, and remember, Clarence isn't like enemies with these people, or at least he didn't think he was, but he also never spoke to them, so it was kind of weird for them to kind of like just come up to him out of the blue and start talking to him. He was caught off a little bit off guard. And remember, he's completely forgotten about bumping into them until like they start talking to him, right? And they say, like, they come up to him and they're like, so you chose to fight us. You chose to start the battle and we're gonna finish it. And Clarence is like, I think you have me mixed up for someone else, bro. I'm pretty sure I'm not the guy who started this battle that you're talking about. I legitimately have no idea what you're saying. And they're like, no, it was 100% you. You bumped into us, which is a understandable battle cry. And yes, you're a fool for this though, because we will absolutely smite you in battle. And Clarence is like, oh, no, that was like a mistake. Like, I didn't mean to bump into you. That was an accident. Like, I'm sorry, my fault. And they're like, no, you can't take back your declaration of battle. This battle was started by you, but will be finished by us. And one of the kids, the one who sits like L from Death Note, like who kind of like reaches out of his backpack, and Clarence is like, hey, yo. And what he reaches out of his backpack was a black notebook. And on the front of the notebook says Death Note on it. If you don't know, there's like an anime Death Note where basically, I'm not going to spoil anything too important, but the main thing is there's a book, and if you write someone's name in it and like what they died from, like the person will die within like 40 seconds or something. I might have butchered that a little bit. It's been a second since I've watched it. Great show, by the way. But anyways, he whips out like a replica Death Note, and the other 2 anime kids are like, you don't want him to write your name in this book. And Clarence has never seen Death Note before. He was explained the premise by his friend afterward when he told his friend about this story. But basically, right, one of the anime kids whips out a fake Death Note, and he's just like, you don't want me to do this, bro. You don't want me to do this. And Clarence is like, do what? He's like, write your name in the Death Note. And Clarence is like, bro, what? I don't know what that is. This is like a book or something. He's like, no, it's not just a book, you idiot, you fool, you simpleton, you moron. If I write your name in the Death Note, you will perish. And Clarence is like, what? And Clarence is just like, all right, bro, write my name in that silly book. He's like, haha, you fool. And so the anime kid writes Clarence's name in the book. And he waits 40 seconds, and he's grinning the whole time, and then 40 seconds passes, and nothing happens. And he's like, Ryuk must have just nerfed this one, The other anime kids kind of look at him, and then they look back at Clarence, and they're like, you might have won this battle, but this is not simply a battle. This is a war, and we're coming back tomorrow with even more weapons and powerful. You will lose. And then they all kind of like Naruto dash away. And Clarence is like, man, why is this my life? Like, why am I here? Just to suffer? Real quick, comment anime down below if you want to harden your comment. The secret word of the day is anime. And if you binge watch my videos, please let me know in the comment section. That's the best way to help me, to grow the channel is by watching a ton of videos. Playlists are in the description to help you watch the videos easier. And yeah, back to the story. But anyways, right, Clarence is kind of just like, oh, so this is going to be like a thing. Because Clarence is this, he's hanging on to the words where the anime kids were like, oh, we're coming back tomorrow with even more. And Clarence in his head is like, bro, I don't want to have to deal with you guys tomorrow as well. Like, isn't today enough? Like, isn't like you writing my name in that book and then nothing happening? Isn't that enough for all this nonsense? But no, the days just get stranger and stranger because the next day rolls around. And once again, it is recess. And this time, Clarence is with one of his friends. And he notices out of the corner of his eye, the anime kids are rolling up. And he's just thinking to himself, like, bro, I'm not trying to do this right now. I'm hanging out with my friend. I'm having a good time. This is recess. This is supposed to be my break from the nonsense. This is not supposed to be the nonsense, times 2 extended edition. Like, I'm not trying to do this. And the anime kids come up to him and they're like, ha ha ha, you might have won yesterday's battle, but you will never win the war. And then all 3 of them whip out these fake plastic Pokeballs. And at this point, Clarence is like, bro, you cannot be serious. And they're like, oh, so you know what we're about to attack you with. And one of them yells, Charizard attack! And they just chuck the plastic Pokeball at Clarence and it hits him. And look, it's not like actually like, okay, ooh, yeah, duh, Connor, it's not a real Pokeball, shut up, right? But it's like, it's plastic, it's hard. And it kind of hurt a little bit. And Clarence is like, ow. By the way, a massive real-life Charizard did not come out of the Pokeball they threw. It just kind of bounced off Clarence, and it hurt a little bit. So Clarence is like, bro, don't do that. That kind of hurts. And then the other one's like, Bulbasaur, attack! And just chucks the Pokeball again. And Clarence is like, dude, stop. That hurts. It's going to leave a bruise. And the final one's like, Pikachu, I choose you. And just chucks the Pokeball. Once again, bounces off of Clarence. And he's just like, bro, can you not? And then another one takes out another Pokeball. Actually, it's the first one. And he's like, Blastoise. And he chucks it and just completely misses Clarence. He's like, bro, I'm going somewhere else. Like, screw you guys. I'm going home. So him and, Clarence and his friend, like, they just walk away. And his friend's like, bro, what? So Clarence explains the story as I've explained it to you guys so far. And his friend is like, bro, that's so weird. Like, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. That must be pretty annoying. So the next day rolls around, and this is like the craziest day yet. So once again, Clarence is at recess, and he's with a pretty big group of people. He doesn't know all of them super well, but, he knows enough of them well enough that, I don't know, they're doing some big activity or whatever. And once again, the anime kids come over. And Clarence is like, guys, I'm sorry, I have to deal with something. So he walks over preemptively, goes over to the anime kids and is like, what is it today? What's the massive battle? And this time, right, the last 2 days, there was a teacher, like, monitoring everyone at recess, but they were kind of busy looking at other things or something. But this time, the teacher happened to be looking at the anime kids and Clarence. And one of the anime kids is like, today, we will have our final battle. And he whips out this big, long sash, right? And Clarence is like, dude, what? And he unsheaths a katana from it. And Clarence is like, yo, you can't have that here. And the anime kid starts swinging his sword around all like, he's like, you cannot control my power. My power level is over 25,000 right now. He's like, takes out his katana, starts, and the teacher runs up, and the teacher sees a kid with a massive sword. And the teacher's like, no, oh my God, this is actually insane. So the teacher calls the freaking police, bro, because, look, you can't bring something like that to school. The teacher both calls the police, tells the security guard, and the school goes on lockdown. So basically, after that happens, there's something on the loudspeaker saying, students report to, your classrooms, this is a lockdown. And all the students start running to the classrooms. And Clarence has a sneaking suspicion that the lockdown is due to the katana anime kid. Because you can't bring a freaking katana. By the way, that's a massive long sword used in combat in the 1600s. You can't bring one, even if it's a replica, right? You can't bring that to school. So sure enough, right, all the kids, they're rushing to their classes, and Clarence and the anime kid, they do have one class together, And it happens to be like their next class is after recess. So yeah, they all go to the same classroom to lock down. And dude, the anime kid who has the katana is legitimately sitting in class with his katana, like it's in his like container or whatever. But it's very obvious, right? So they're all like in lockdown. They're all sitting in their classrooms. They're kind of all like sitting in the corner of the room with the shades drawn. I'm sure you guys have at least had like a lockdown drill before. Or maybe if you're not in the States, you haven't. But basically, right, you have to go in your classroom, lock the doors, and just keep everything like very still and as if no one is in there, right? So eventually, you know, there's a police officer that comes around unlocking each of the doors and going in and assessing the situation. And the police officer eventually comes to their door, knocks on it, opens it up, and sees, right, the kid with the katana. And the police officer points at the anime kid and says, "Hey, I'm going to need you to come with me." And the anime kid stands up and he doesn't grab his katana because he's obviously not going to walk over to the police officer with a katana, right? And the police officer's like, points to the other officer, like, "Go grab that." So the officer kind of like walks over, grabs the katana, and the anime kid is like, "No, that is my weapon of choice." And the police officer's like, "Yeah, that's also the reason why we're doing this." And I don't think the anime kid knew that that was the reason why they were having a lockdown until then. Even Clarence was pretty sure it wasn't because of the anime kid, but he had a sneaking suspicion. So Clarence is like, "Oh, uh-oh, look at who won the war, bro." Nah, he wasn't like default dancing yet. Just give him a second, though. So eventually, right, you know, the kid walks out and the police officer has a talk with him outside. And Clarence, like, presses his ear against the wall, and the walls of the school are pretty thin, so we can more or less hear what the police officer is saying. So the police officer is explaining to the katana anime kid that, "Dude, you cannot bring an actual weapon to school. That's insane. Like, look, it's like, yeah, I get it. It might be a replica, but it's still very sharp and it could really be used like super dangerously. And that, like, bro, it's super." Okay, the officer didn't say bro, but like the officer was saying, "It's super clear that this is a rule, that you can't be bringing this to school. Why would you think that this is necessary?" And the anime kid starts to say, "We were about to enter an anime battle," or something like that. And the officer said, "What, you were going to like use this in combat against another student?" And the anime kid was like, "Well, now that you put it that way," I mean, the anime kid was slowly understanding that he messed up big time. The officer's like, "I thought you were just bringing this in just to show it around. You were going to use it in combat against another student? Like, this thing might be a replica. It's still very sharp. You could definitely actually do some damage with this. Do you understand? Do you understand why everyone had to lock down?" And the anime kid is like, "Well, I don't understand why everyone had to lock down. It's not like I was going to use it." And the officer's like, "You just said you were going to use it." And the anime kid was like, "Yeah, but just on one student." And he's like, "So you're going to use it on a student?" And the anime kid's like, "Well, everyone doesn't need to lock down if I'm not going to like enter anime combat with them too." And the officer is just completely speechless. So the officer's like, "All right, come with me," and kind of motions to the security guard to come with them. And they walk him over to the principal's office, or it's some kind of official place. At this point, Clarence was obviously not in earshot to hear what went down, but TLDR, because he did hear from other people and just kind of like figured it out. The anime kid got suspended for 2 weeks, and he was now, after this point, on extremely thin ice. If he even sneezed in the wrong direction, right, he was going to get in big trouble. For some reason, right, the anime kid never said that it was Clarence when he was being, like, interrogated. He refused to say the name of the student that he was fighting to keep the anonymity, oh my God, you know what I'm trying to say. He's trying to keep, like, I don't want to reveal my fellow soldiers and also my opponent in battle. I have respect for him or whatever. So Clarence never was a part of this. He never was asked in, and he also was kind of lazy, so he didn't feel like getting involved, and the kid was going to get in trouble one way or another. But after the fact, the other two anime kids that didn't get in trouble came up to Clarence and they're like, "You think this is over? You think you can vanquish one of our allies and get away with it?" And Clarence is like, "Bro, I literally did nothing. I just stood there and he just self-reported. That's not on me." And they said, No, this is on you. You better watch your back because we will strike again. Vengeance will be ours." And to this day, the subscriber was telling me over on Instagram, which is in the description, that's where you can send in some stories to be featured on the channel. He was telling me that to this day, the anime kids have not, given their revenge yet. So maybe one day they'll have their master plan unfold and Clarence will figure out what the revenge is. But until this day, they are yet to strike. So yeah, you might be seeing a part 2, maybe. I
Click
don't
on the
know.
video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.